Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Everyone, like the video before we get started this morning. This is our top of the hour break at the top of the show. And of course, we've got a lot to talk about today. Oh my goodness. Welcome. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate. And that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much. And I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. Seniors. All right, here we go, people. Why do people ignore what you say? Well, I don't know. Chris Collins. Why do you think people ignore what you say? I'm obviously not ignoring what you say now. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FL. Australia. Yeah, I've been watching my wife and I, we've been watching the Australian version of Survivor. Watched the most recent season. Finished that. Now we're a couple seasons back. Oh my goodness, the one in the Outback? The Australian Survivor is much tougher than the American Survivor, I'll tell you that. Hey guys, good morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Welcome one and all. And of course, this is the most important Steve Kane Show of the week, because this is not just our Friday edition. It's Friday, right? It better be, because I've got plans. This is not just our live Friday morning show. This is our overnight rebroadcast for the entire weekend. And just on our radio stations, our AM and FM radio stations, I'm not including my YouTube channel, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, our radio station app, and all the other places that carry this program with and without our permissions. By the way, you must have permission to reproduce this broadcast. If not, you're in trouble if we find out. Just on our radio stations, the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show airs a total of, that's right, 35 times before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we want to make sure that the Friday show is the best. We've got humongous news on the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which I'm going to start off in a minute. Just a couple of personal notes before I get started with everything today. I've been up since 2 a.m. In fact, I set my alarm for 1:45 for a particular reason. And I got up at 2 a.m., rolled out of bed, took a shower, got ready, and did all of my show prep. And I was finished with my show prep, because it takes me about 2 to 3 hours of show preparation each and every morning before I go on the air. Plus, I got to drive here to the radio station from my house and everything. And I was finished at 4 a.m. And the reason I did all this, which was quite on purpose, was to see the nearly total eclipse of the moon that's taking place early this morning. And I tell you, this is something else. So I wake up at 1:45. I lay in bed. I take up my iPhone, start reading the news. I get up out of bed at 2 a.m., take a shower, get dressed, put on my MyPillow, my slippers, which is what I always wear around the house, go in my home studio, because I have a podcasting studio, a very nice studio at home, and do all my show prep. Finish right before 4 a.m., go outside to see the total eclipse, well, nearly total eclipse, and the entire Florida sky is covered in clouds. I can't see a damn thing. I mean, it was... I know, isn't that sucks? I should have gone outside first, but it was supposed to be at its peak at 4:03 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I wanted to make sure, and I was going to make a YouTube video to share with you guys, and the entire sky completely covered in clouds. Couldn't see anything. So I got up at 1:45 in the morning for nothing. Nothing. But that's okay. I'm here now. They said it's the only time this has happened in 500 and something years. So I said, well, let me get up. Okay, so I may be fading by the end of the show. One other thing on a personal note, and then we'll get into the Kyle Rittenhouse humongous news. But I just want to get one other thing out involving the show yesterday. I've been talking about having some health issues. I'm not dying. I do not have a disease. I have very minor problems. But it's the first time in my life I've had to take prescription medications. You know, and it's a new thing for me. I've got blood pressure issues, and I thought I was fine, and until the very end of the show yesterday. The blood pressure medication I'm on, I went to the doctor a couple days ago, was talking about this, and I learned something about my blood pressure medication I didn't know, that it does most of its work like the first 4 hours that after I take it, right? And I know when I get off the air, my blood pressure's through the roof, because doing the show is stressful. Dealing with all this depressing news. You know, here we've got Biden and Kamala wrecking America, wrecking the economy, and American hostages all over the place and everything. And there's just all hell's breaking loose. And doing the show in itself is stressful, even if there's good news going on. So yesterday I took my blood pressure medication at about 5 a.m. before I came to the radio station. Figured out an hour, then it'll be in my system, and didn't seem to be a problem at first, but I was out of it the last half of the show, at least yesterday. In fact, I don't even have much of a recollection of the show yesterday, especially the last hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I'm going to start taking my blood pressure medication when I get home. I'm not going to take it during the show any longer. It had me very, very loopy yesterday. And I talked to Steve after the show, because Steve wasn't here yesterday, but he was listening. And I told him, I said, I called him up about something else, you know, something business-wise. And he said, oh, the show was spectacular today. I said, really? He said, oh, yeah, you were on top of it. And I didn't tell him I was having issues. And I said, well, that's shocking to me, because I don't even remember the last 2 hours of the show, especially the last hour. But the last 2 of the 3 hours are just a blur. But the last hour is not even in my memory banks any longer, and it's because of my blood pressure medication. So I will take my blood pressure medication when I get home today. So I don't know what yesterday's show sounded like. Steve said it sounded very good. My wife told me that she couldn't tell anything was wrong. And I didn't get a bunch of DMs on Twitter or a bunch of YouTube comments telling me that I was out of it yesterday. So maybe I sounded fine and normal, but to me, I was like out of it. And, you know, it's just blood pressure medication. It's no big deal. It's just I'm not used to taking prescription medications and having to regulate and worry about things like that. So I'm just, you know. So anyway, I don't know. It was just a strange day. But that's that. That was yesterday. Today is today. So let's just move on. Welcome, everyone, to the program. Again, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. I think I share too much with you guys. Do you guys think I share too much with you guys? I tell you everything that's going on, and maybe I shouldn't tell anybody anything and just, you know, be very private like all these other guys are that are on the radio. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so there's all kinds of craziness. We've got two trials going on, the Aubrey trial and, of course, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And there have been major developments in the last few days in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and it's coming to a head. NewsMax is reporting. NewsMax is reporting this, and to me, NewsMax is as close to the gospel as a news organization can be. I love NewsMax TV. They're headquartered right here in Boca Raton, and I've been a fan of Chris Ruddy and NewsMax since I first heard of Chris Ruddy. And what they do on television is just historic and groundbreaking. They are doing what Fox News used to do like 20 years ago, right? They're doing a great job, and I love NewsMax. NewsMax is reporting that sources overheard the defense attorneys speaking, and it's being reported that the defense team said that the Rittenhouse jury is evenly split, 6-6. 6-6. I don't know how that's possible. I have no idea how that's possible. Remember, we had a story 2 days ago from investigative journalist who has very good sourcing, Jack Posobiec, who said that there were 2 jurors who were holding out. Now we're at 6. How could that be? And I'm going to ask you guys to speculate on this at 1-888-GO-KANE 1 888-465-2631. And here's the only. Now, I'm going to assume that both of these stories are true, okay? The Jack Posobiec story that there were 2 holdouts the other day, because I trust Jack Posobiec. He's very good friends with the incredible Laura Loomer, okay? And so he has a lot of credibility, Jack Posobiec. So we went from 2 to 6 evenly split. How could that happen? The only thing that if both of those stories are true, even if Jack Posobiec's isn't true, watching this case with the charges in front of the jury, how could they have any decision other than not guilty, right? How could they have any decision other than not guilty? I don't see how it's possible. There are cases that are up for debate. There's things you don't know. A lot of times, in most cases that involve murders, there's no witnesses because the murderer kills the witnesses. Like OJ, right? Yeah, Jodi Arias. Usually the witnesses are killed. But this, not only do we have surviving witnesses, we have one person shot who survived, and we've got all this video footage, too, of the entire evening, even interviews with Kyle Rittenhouse on the scene. So this case, the Kyle Rittenhouse case, is very, very unusual in that you've got a multiple murder trial, because we got 2 and then one person shot. There's many witnesses and a lot of video evidence. It is not even, in my mind, it is not up for debate that these are self-defense. The guy that survived said that he was shot in self-defense by Kyle Rittenhouse. The only conclusion I can make, even if Jack Posobiec's story is debunked and not true, which it has not been, if what NewsMax TV is reporting today, that it's evenly split 6-6, the only thing I can think of is fear being followed by MSNBC people, having a mob outside the building that they can hear in the jury room. What's going on in the media, on television, the only conclusion, I'm not saying that there's not 1 or 2 liberal jokers on there that would go guilty when it's clearly self-defense, but 6, I do not believe that it is statistically possible to have a jury in this case see all the evidence that we've seen and come back with guilty. I just don't think that 6 out of 12 could do that. 50%? It doesn't make sense to me. On top of the evidence, the way that this prosecution carried themselves, and this new video, which also further clears Kyle Rittenhouse, shows him being chased. So I believe it is impossible for a jury in Kenosha, Wisconsin, to have 50% of the jury saying guilty. It just, to me, it's statistically impossible. One or two, you got some little jerks up there, I can get that. But half of them, it's got to be this doxing business. People trying to photograph them, people following their bus. So I want to throw this out there to you guys. What do you think? Okay, at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. Is there any other explanation for 50% of the jury to be saying guilty right now? I just don't see how it is possible. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take our first break of the Friday weekend edition of Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. Let's take that break, all right? We'll be back right after this.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I took both eyes in the back of my Infinity. I called him up, and I was really surprised.
Well, what happened with my blood pressure medication, I forgot to take it the other day, the day of my doctor's appointment, and I took it like an hour or two maybe before my doctor's appointment, and they took my blood pressure twice, and it was the lowest it had been in weeks, and when I've been taking it at home, even with my medication, it's been high, and I was feeling fine. So I thought, well, I should take it before I go on the air, because that's when my blood pressure is highest while I'm on the air. And I felt like, looking back, like I was high. When I'm on the air, I don't even eat in the morning. I have coffee. I have coffee before I leave the house. I don't even eat until after the show, because I need to be, if I eat, I'll get tired. And so I did take it on an empty stomach. That might be part of it. But the last 2 hours of yesterday's show are a complete blur. The last hour, I don't even remember. I know.
Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Is here to offer you
I can't stop drinking coffee.
of all your Medicare.
I can't stop drinking coffee. I'm addicted. Since I started working full-time at 18, I've been drinking coffee.
Every available option to ensure you make the right choice for your needs.
I don't remember the name of the medication offhand. Not that I would tell you anyway, because then all I'll get is DMs from people all day telling me what's wrong with what I'm taking.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, we're back. Now, during this Medicare open enrollment period, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, Debbie from I Will Advisors can help you. From the Panhandle to Key West and everywhere in between. Steve actually met with Debbie from I Will Advisors a couple days ago, and she went through his Medicare, and he made some big changes to it to cover some of the prescription medications he takes that weren't covered, or at least were barely covered, on his policy for this last year. So no matter where you are in Florida, call Debbie from I Will Advisors. She can help you with your Medicare. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. If you're listening overnights or you call now, leave a message. Especially you guys overnights on the weekends, they will call you back during business hours. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is our number. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Richie.
Oh, Richie the bus driver. Hey, Richie.
Good. Two things I have to tell you. First of all, I went on blood pressure medicine about the same age as you are right now. And my mother was on it for like 50 years. Some blood pressure medications don't. Everyone's different. And if you're getting an effect of either being out of it, which is not right, I would go back to your doctor and try another blood pressure medicine. There's so many different, because...
Yeah, I'm going to do that. And it was really scary for me when Steve called me after the show, and he's like, oh, the show was spectacular. I was listening and this and that, and I said, I don't even remember it. And I was telling him what was going on. He says, well, he says, I never would have known. And so, okay, so I guess I pulled it off.
Well, I have no effects, and I've been taking it.
I don't even take, let me tell you, I don't even take an Advil, okay? I don't take anything. Prescription medications suck. That's why that's why I'm into nutraceuticals, But, and I do take a lot of nutraceuticals, no side effects, but anytime I take a prescription medication. But anyway, let's get back to this. So it's being reported right now that the Rittenhouse jury is split 6-6. NewsMax TV reporting that one of the attorneys for the defense were overheard in the hallway saying this. How can half of this jury be going not guilty, Richie?
I'm going to explain to you, because I've been watching these conservative lawyers, who, especially Barnes, who was the guy that said they should have had a professional pick jury. He was upset that they denied him this, and they picked their own jury. And he said there was a few. They did research. They were infiltrated. That jury has been infiltrated by left-wing people. And
really? You mean, how does that? You mean lefties? How did lefties infiltrate the jury? How did this happen?
Well, they say they can judge a fair judgment on a person when they went in there saying, "I'm going to hang this guy."
Who is saying this? You saying you're hearing this with
Barnes, who was on the original team, who
Rittenhouse's original attorney?
Was part of his original team.
Yeah.
And Rittenhouse's family got in touch with somebody who took over. They fired everybody, and they decided to bring in local people, not really big names. They could have given this kid the best, and they didn't do it. So, but the deal is this: there's reckless homicide, and that was one of the big things that are in the instructions. Okay, that was, in other words, they could have cleared him on all this other stuff. The reckless homicide is him discharging his weapon without hitting this guy called Jump Kick Man. And this guy, the first guy in the scene that used his boots to kick, and the prosecution said, listen to this one, we don't know who he is, we can't find.
Liars, perjurers.
They lied because this guy went before them asking for immunity, so they know exactly who he is. They wouldn't give him the immunity, so he wasn't called. The defense never had the opportunity to call him. In other words, they're charging him with a ghost. They know who
the guy, and he's identified in the media. He's another felon.
Another felon. So they lied again. This has become a circus. If this judge doesn't have any, what I'm talking about, he doesn't have the guts, and he's a liberal, by the way.
Well, the judge is a liberal. He doesn't seem very liberal. There's a difference between being a liberal and being a Democrat.
In there by, I believe it was Jimmy Carter. He was, in other words.
Wait a minute. This judge is a local judge. He's not appointed by the president. To what? He's a local judge. He's an elected judge in town. No, he's not. This isn't a federal court. Well, but there's but Richie, slow down. There's a difference in an old-timer like this judge being a Democrat than these snowflake radicals we have today. And another thing, and so I don't know, he seems pretty conservative to me. Lee Greenwood on his phone, American flag tie. But Leo Terrell was talking about this day before yesterday. The judge can declare a mistrial with prejudice even after a jury verdict in this case.
Yeah, but my understanding is this. The chances are, he asked last night, he asked Jesuits and a couple others, if they come back with like a reckless on that gun charge, that's 10 to 15 years on this case.
That's outrageous, and I'll tell you something. I don't like this business in our jury system where the juries go back, they vote, and then they debate and try to talk each other into it for days and days and days. I mean, that to me, I know that's the system, but that doesn't seem right to me. You know why?
The foreman took the instructions home list.
I know. I don't understand that.
She's the one going to read, say, you just don't understand what this really means. She's going to pull out the dictionary and go through line by line.
So you think the lady foreman is a liberal and she's intimidated? Yeah, well, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Well, this is so. I just hope that it's a hung jury today. He's going to probably come to.
Is the jury? There's one black person on the jury, right? Or is that the Aubrey case? Is it the one black person? Is it the lady Foreman?
No.
Okay.
This is a blonde proposal.
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know what she looks like?
They had people in the courtroom with these lawyers that.
Oh, okay, talking about it. Mm-hmm.
Talking about it, and they said.
Well, I don't know if libs could infiltrate the jury. They're in the jury pool. I mean, how big? You know.
50% of the people in Kenosha wanted to hang this kid. It was known before the trial. They did research on this. So this guy Barnes, the lawyer, said, "Listen, we got to get in people that can read body language because people lie and they can tell by their body. We got to know what questions to ask." They had these two novices.
Okay, so what do you? Okay, now if what's being reported on Newsmax is true, okay, and it's 6-6, what do you think is going to end up happening here?
I think it's going to be hung unless she can pout.
Okay, so if she would have to convince 6 others to go guilty that are going not guilty right now. I think that's unlikely.
They're fighting her probably over the charge.
I wouldn't fight her. I'd just sit there on my tail and let her pontificate. I wouldn't fight with her. Screw that. You know, there's nothing you can't make. So, okay, so let's say they come back hung. What does the judge do?
The judge will either say another trial, give another.
Well, I know what the options are. What do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll go mistrial with prejudice? I don't think the judge wants Kyle to be tried again.
I think it'll go another trial, but a change of venue.
Oh, that's awful.
There are 2 new lawyers because these guys are the worst.
Yeah, and the chief prosecutor should think about prosecuting his attorneys who seem to lie to judges and courts and hide evidence.
The chief prosecutor put these 2 guys out there because he knew he had no case.
Yeah, but this Laurel and Hardy team that they have there have been lying to the judge, lying to the court, withholding evidence. They're criminal. They're committing felonies. Pointing guns at juries?
It's worked because the defense was so passive, they let them go through this without objecting to nothing. This is what these other lawyers are saying. They're sitting there saying, "Oh my God, this is a travesty." And by the way, those 2 lawyers for Rittenhouse are liberal lawyers. They're liberal. I'm telling you, they are. And the lawyers were talking about it.
Well, listen, all you want is a skilled attorney. I agree with you. In fact, the one that's always on the end of the table, who's always looks like he's in pain, the defense lawyers seem mediocre. And that lady they have at the end of the table that's always drinking the diet soda. I mean, come on, lady. Nobody's buying that crap.
Lawyer who hasn't had trial experience, but they said that she actually did the best job when she called out the other ones.
I was watching her in the exchange over the video the other day. I mean, this is not the dream team. I give you that. Yeah. All right, Richie, take care. All right, take care. Appreciate it. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Me?
Yeah, you're on the radio. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is David, and I'm calling out of the Tampa area.
David in Tampa, what's up?
I wanted to give the angle on this Rittenhouse jury. I really think that the whole thing with this jury is a majority of these people in the United States have gone with this cancel culture mentality. So I really feel a majority of these people that are doing the jury, so people that were on the jury are going to not want to be canceled by their peers or fired from their jobs for doing or saying.
Well, we heard that Jack Prosobic reported 2 days ago that there were 2 jurors who were holdouts who were fearful for their safety, their family's safety, and their jobs. They specifically said that. Were very vocal. This was 2 days ago.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And here's the other angle. There's money to be made. So these people.
Have you ever slow down, Tampa. Have you ever known of a juror in a high-profile case that went on to have like book deals and make big money? I've seen some interviews, but I've never seen a juror turn it into a
conservatives. I'm not talking for conservatives. I'm talking about if they wrongly convict this guy.
Oh, you're talking about like bribe money? You're talking about bribe money?
That too. I mean, they could be bribed, and then on top of that, look, there's money to be made. So this is what I'm thinking. They convict this guy wrongly. They come out with their book deal. They don't get to be canceled. I mean, it's a bigger picture here. And then they don't get to be followed and stopped by, the people that want to cancel them out. Their jobs, and they're able to take care of their families. This is corruption at its finest. That's all this is.
There are, I've watched a lot of these cases, and I always think to myself, if I'm on a jury, if I'm making a decision that's going to result in anyone spending the rest of their life in jail or a very long stretch of time, I need to know 150% sure that they did it. I mean, I would, and I would have a very high bar for me, because that's a big decision to make. You're taking someone's life away from them when you make that decision. In this case, let me finish my thought. In this case, I've watched it very closely. You even have the one guy he shot saying it was in self-defense. Each one of these three instances have multiple witnesses and video that show beyond any doubt whatsoever that it was self-defense in every instance, and he was under attack. That new video that they released in high definition shows that they were chasing him down the street. So to me, it is impossible to convict on this one. There's just impossible.
And I feel the same way. I feel exactly the same way. But with this,
is it all white, the Rittenhouse jury
thing going on, and people not wanting to, lose touch with their reality in life, they're willing to stick themselves out there and vote the wrong.
Now, is it true? Because we've got two trials going on, and I got a little confusion here. I don't know if you know. I'm going to ask you, but if somebody in the audience knows, give me a call. Is the Rittenhouse jury all white? I know there's one black lady on the Georgia jury. Is the Rittenhouse jury all white? I think it might be.
I have not seen the actual people on the jury.
There's one black person on this jury. I know there's one black person on the Aubrey jury, but what about this one?
I have no clue on this one.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring that up, someone who's black is under tremendous amounts of pressure. If you're in these cases, well, because you've got even if you want to render a not guilty in this case, you got a lot of pressure on you from what you're talking about, the cancel culture. Yeah. So you're in Tampa. How did you find the show in Tampa?
I watch you on YouTube every single day.
Well, welcome. Well, thanks for calling. You're a good caller, and haven't been to Tampa in a while, but I've been there many times.
I haven't been to Miami since '93, but yeah.
Oh my goodness. Tampa, people don't realize how big Florida is. Tampa, I'm in Boca Raton. Tampa's a 5-hour drive from South Florida. People don't realize you got to go all the way across the state, then you got to go north, and people don't realize how big Florida is. It's a 5-hour drive to Tampa, and it's a miserable drive at that, quite honestly. And that Skyway Bridge, I'm terrified of. I just hate that.
My wife is terrified of that bridge. We have to take the opposite 275 way around it. She will not take it.
Well, the first time I went on that bridge, I was a kid, and I wasn't driving. My grandfather was, and it was right after the ship hit it and knocked half of it down. And with the Skyway Bridge in Tampa, you can't even see the top. It's got cloud cover at the top. Screw that. All right, man, take care. All right, 30...
High blood pressure. I changed that medicine.
The blood pressure's fine. It's the dopey medication that's the problem.
I was drinking coffee every single day. I was going through the same problem, starting to have eye pain, couldn't figure it out. And the doctor told me, you got to lay off the coffee. I know you're addicted, but you got to slow it down.
Well, let's see the doctor come in and do a 3-hour radio talk show without coffee, and then they can give me advice.
Correct.
All right, take care. All right, thanks a lot. Tampa, Florida on the line. Okay. That's so cool. I love this. I think it's so cool being able to go to Tampa, Wisconsin, California, Canada. We're all over the place. It's pretty awesome taking calls like that. I feel like Larry King. All right, 36 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and
Steve
doors,
Kane Show.
weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Seniors, open enrollment is here. I Will Advisors is here to offer you an unbiased comparison of all your Medicare health insurance options. I Will Advisors specialize in educating Medicare beneficiaries on every available option to ensure you make the right choice for your needs. Call us directly at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1.
Wesley, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Wesley. Good morning, Brian. Let's hope the judge ends this Rittenhouse trial madness. Oh, yeah. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Oh, you know, I was over at Steve's house last week, and I saw for the first time the completed roof that Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting put on Steve's home, and man, did it look good. It looks so good. I mean, I didn't even recognize the house. It looks so good, so different. And the inside of the house where Tom Laporta did the work, it just masterful work. It's absolutely masterful work. He did a great job on Steve's house. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Teresa from Michigan.
Hey, Teresa in Michigan. What's up?
Well, I want to tell you something. First, let's talk about blood pressure. Mine was 225 over 140.
Oh my goodness.
I took the amlodipine, I took the lisinopril, and it had bad swelling and everything. I want to tell you about Magzyme from Biotics and Carditone. You will be a brand new man.
Oh, okay.
59. So.
Well, I felt. In fact, I was, and I was so out of it on yesterday's show. I was talking at the top. I don't even really remember too much of the show yesterday. It was a blur. And no, it was the blood pressure medication. It had me very loopy. It was not the stroke level. No, I did not have stroke level blood pressure. I was loopy from the blood pressure medication, and not the blood pressure itself. Because my blood pressure was fine. I took it after the show because I was feeling so strange. But anyway, a Rittenhouse case. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, that boy's a hero. Let me tell you. That little boy needs to teach our men how to behave.
No. I don't want to. I don't want to get into that hero thing. I mean, you know, I don't support. If Kyle were my son, I would, and I knew what he was planning, he wouldn't have been there. Okay. So no, I don't want to get now. Why is he a hero? I'm supporting his acquittal. There's no doubt about it. It was self-defense. I'm a gun owner. I'm a Second Amendment supporter, but he's not Audie Murphy here.
I know, and right. Who would let their little boy do this? But listen, that little kid. I mean, he was protecting he was helping people in his community. But I want to tell you, get this Megzyme and the Cardatone, if you could write.
Okay. Well, all right.
These prescription big.
They're natural supplements. I will talk to Janet Cimarelli at AJ's Natural at the Festival Marketplace. I'll ask her about that. All right. All right. Take care, Michigan. Take care. Appreciate the call. No. You know, a lot of people are getting into this thing that Kyle's a hero and everything. I wouldn't say that at all, and I don't think anyone should be encouraged to do what he did. That is, go into a place where the law has collapsed. And basically what you had in Kenosha that night was the purge, right? It was the purge, or Haiti, on a regular Friday night. I mean, there was no law, there was no infrastructure, there was no fire and rescue, nothing. You were on your own in Kenosha. And when there's an incident like that, the best thing you can do is not go. And it would have been best for him not to be there, but he was there. It would be best if he was there not to have the gun. There's no doubt about it. But he was there, he was attacked, and he defended his life. But don't get into this hero thing. I do not agree with that characterization. That's no. No. All right, 1-888-GO, Kane 1 is our number, toll free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, didn't the prosecutors withhold some evidence and they lied? Well, you can say they misconstrued the truth. That's lying. Why can't this be declared a mistrial? Or is the judge and the jury going to cave into fear because they're afraid of being hurt? And if they do that, what happens then?
Yeah. Well, you know, Richie had a lot of information on this jury. I don't know. What is he, with MSNBC, following him around? But he said that they got a liberal lady foreperson. I guess he's heard on some people saying, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's being reported, for those that are just tuning in, and this was on NewsMax TV. If it was not NewsMax, I wouldn't be believing it. But NewsMax reported last night that one of the defense attorneys was overheard saying that the jury is split 6-6. And looking at this trial with all the video evidence, because what I was saying at 6, Jeff, it is very unusual in a murder trial to have witnesses, because the murderers kill the witnesses, right? So we've got multiple witnesses. And people don't typically go out and murder when people have cameras all over the place either. So we have a lot of video, some of it high definition. We have multiple witnesses, including one of the people Rittenhouse shot, saying it was self-defense. So I don't see how you could come away with anything but not guilty in this case. Even on the reckless endangerment, you have a right to open carry in Wisconsin. That's the way it is. If you don't like the gun laws, well, you know, run for the state legislature and do away with it. But I just don't understand. It is impossible for me to believe that 6 people, 50% of the jury, could be saying guilty right now. I just don't see how it's possible.
Unless the liberals and/or bought and paid for by someone. I mean, the eyewitness account.
Or they're terrified because there's a mob outside screaming, or there's NBC News freelancers following their bus.
But if anyone gets caught tampering with the jury, that's a felony, and they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I would now, unless and I'll throw this out to you guys, because I know you're all following this. My read on the judge is that he doesn't even believe Kyle Rittenhouse should be on trial. And my read on the judge, which could be completely wrong, but my read on the judge is that he does not want Kyle Rittenhouse to go to jail. He doesn't think he should be on trial, and he doesn't want to see him in front of another judge other than him, because another judge is going to, let this prosecutor do his stuff. So I just find it hard to believe that this judge is going to let Kyle Rittenhouse go to jail.
And he can override anything the jury does anyway, can he?
Yeah, he can come in with the mistrial with prejudice after the jury verdict, Leo Terrell said on Fox a couple days ago. And, another thing what I've thought the judge is doing, and again, I'm giving you my thoughts. I'm not saying this is the way it is, and you guys listening, if you have a different opinion or disagree with mine, please call. But it is obviously better in the long run for Kyle Rittenhouse to get a not guilty from the jury. So I thought maybe the judge is seeing what the jury will do, hoping he'll get a not guilty, as opposed to, if he comes in with the mistrial with prejudice, there'll always be an asterisk next to his name because he would not have been found not guilty by the court.
Correct, and I believe I read the same thing from the judge. But can he also bring charges up against those prosecutors?
I don't know. I hope he does. I mean, the lawyers are lying. They're withholding evidence. They lied that they didn't know who the jump kick guy was. They lied about that. That guy even contacted them, and tried to make a deal.
Can you imagine if it was a liberal judge and they were conservative prosecutors that did that? What would hit the fan, if you know?
And it should, because that's in my opinion that's a miscarriage of justice. I don't root for somebody to be convicted or acquitted just because of their skin color or political affiliation. I want the justice system to work blindly for everyone. And this prosecutor, to me, this prosecutor, especially the skinny guy, but the fat guy too. I heard the fat guy talking about how the video, zip files, all this crap he was spewing the other day. They knew what they were doing with that video. These two guys are as corrupt as Biden.
Amen on the equal justice. I don't care if there was conservatives lying and withholding evidence. They should be prosecuted. And
well, like for example, these guys in the Aubrey case, they're like a Klansman. I mean, I watched this guy testifying in the Aubrey case yesterday. They're guilty as hell. Guilty as hell. Shot him. How many times did he shoot Aubrey with that shotgun? And that's not a semi-auto like this AR-15. You got to pump that thing every time. That's right. That guy's a damn racist murderer. And he, I don't know. Do they have the death penalty in Georgia?
Remember, but if we don't win this case, if the truth doesn't win, justice doesn't prevail, this is going to set up worse things coming down the road everywhere else, won't it?
Yeah. Well, the liberals are social justice warriors. They have to go above the law, around the law, do what they think is right, regardless of the law, because they're social justice warriors. And, hey, listen, Jeff in Maine, got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take a break and back with your calls after this. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name's Brian Craig. Don't go anywhere.
How beautiful and lush Florida is, with the abundance of trees and bushes. But if you want your home to look great,
Hector,
greenery needs to be trimmed and
$5 super chat. Thank you, Hector. Everyone thank Hector. No one is as bad as Biden. He is so selfish that he is only for himself, not for the Dems. Yeah, well, Biden takes it to an all-new level. There's no doubt about that. Well, thank you, Smiling Snow Squirrel.
With all the electrical wiring around, tree trimming is too dangerous to do yourself and requires a professional that you will not find by hiring just some guy with a truck who knocks on your front door. In fact,
what's too snobbish, Jacqueline? Be yourself.
And keeping your trees healthy and having curb appeal. GoPro Professional Property.
This is Iron Man. This shirt.
For any tree emergency, GoPro does it all too. Tree trimming, pruning, tree removal, stump grinding, root removal, lawn care, and installation. And that's just the start of what they do. Call Nathan. He's Steve Kane's personal tree trimmer. And now he wants to work with you. 954-680-7739. He's also available for condos, HOAs, and businesses. 954-680-7739. 954-680-7739. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 954-680-7739.
I've cut my coffee back in half. Somebody said give more water, less coffee. I've cut my coffee back in half in the last couple of months, which definitely has helped. No doubt about it. But cutting it out completely, that ain't going to happen. But I do feel more with it today. I got to tell you, I was so dopey yesterday. I was so dopey, I didn't realize it till towards the end of the show. Okie dokie, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We're talking about the Rittenhouse trial. NewsMax reporting the jury is split 6-6. We're trying to figure out how is that possible. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Why did you guys play Wednesday show last night?
Well, I've already explained that, but I'll explain it to you again. Okay? I was dopey from my medication yesterday. I can't even remember yesterday's show. Towards the end of the show, I was even more out of it, so I didn't play the show on the overnight last night because of it.
How come you didn't mention that this morning?
Well, what? I don't owe you anything. What I got to give you? I got to answer to you? I don't answer to you. Okay, I know who it is. Nobody else does because nobody knows who you are. Might have to, well, I'll take care of that call. I don't know you or anyone else explanations. All right, well, gee whiz. Starting a weekend off right. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is the number. All right, now I just have one audio clip today that I'm going to play. I got a couple here I might play with Steve that I had yesterday that I'll share with him that are pretty good. But you often hear me say that we have the greatest governor, not just in America today, we have the greatest governor in the history of American state governors, and that's Governor Ron DeSantis. He is a rock star. He is a rock star. And I so hope that President Trump chooses him to be his vice president. I know they say you can't have a president and a vice president from the same state. Bush and Cheney were both from Texas. Dick Cheney just went to his house in Wyoming, got a driver's license. That was it. Nobody even questioned it. Now, I'm sure with President Trump and DeSantis, they'll have meltdowns over it. Liz Cheney will probably be saying, you can't do that, even though her daddy did it. But I love Ron DeSantis, and I believe Ron DeSantis will be our second MAGA president in 2024. If Trump were in office today, he'd be our guy in 24, but it's not his time. It's still Trump's time. We've got to wait till 28 for Ron DeSantis, but that's okay. He's a young man, and he's a good guy. But he does a press conference pretty much every day here in Florida, and I try to catch them when I can, and almost every day, and they're all epic. And the one he had yesterday, it's now, the mandates are now illegal in the state of Florida, and he was questioned by a reporter, and just this happened. This is an everyday occurrence with the great Ron DeSantis. Let me play some of this.
So first of all, this idea that somehow conservatism is about
Steve Kane Show.
Local school boards. It's the United States of America, not the United School Boards or County Commissions of America. So the states are the primary vehicles to protect people's freedoms, their health, their safety, their welfare in our constitutional system. What Biden is doing is not constitutional. There has never been a federal vaccine mandate imposed on the general public. I hear people talk about, they do things in the military. Yeah, when I was in the military, they used to give me all kinds of stuff. Honestly, I wish I would have thought a little bit, but I mean, whatever it was. But that's much different than regulating the military and then imposing it on civilians in society. It's never been done before. It's not, they don't have the power to do it. There's no federal police power. States have the police power. So that's from a constitutional perspective, it is worlds apart. Now, some people say, hey, these local governments wanted to lock down businesses. They wanted to force mandates. They wanted to keep the kids locked out of school. Yeah, you're damn right I overruled them on that because they were wrong.
Isn't he awesome?
And the fact of the matter is, you don't have the right to do wrong. And if I had not stepped in last year and made sure that these local governments couldn't lock you down, couldn't mandate, we wouldn't let them fine. We had kids in school last year because of me, not because of them. And that's just the bottom line. And so people can say, is it the job of somebody that's elected to look out for the liberties of everyone in the state? Or do you just say, hey, if someone's violating your freedom, we shouldn't do anything? The fact of the matter is, if we would have let them lock the kids out of school last year, we would have paid the piper.
Hear that one in the background? Oh my God, thank you. This lady says she's the one that's filming this.
That for years and years in this state. If we had let them lock down businesses and restrict and do all that, we would have one of the highest unemployment rates in the country. So we had to stand up for people's liberties, their livelihoods, their right to work, people's right to own a business, and it was the right thing to do. But what Biden is doing, he does not have he even admitted he doesn't have the authority to do it. The Psaki admitted that they don't have the authority to do it. And in fact, even 6 months ago, they were all saying, of course you never mandate. Of course you never mandate. And so the question is, do we actually have a constitution that constrains people like Biden, or is it just when he loses patience, he can do whatever the hell he wants to? No, I'll take the Constitution. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? That's our governor, and he does that every day, Ron DeSantis. Isn't he great? Oh, man, Trump always picks the best. He's governor because of Trump. He was losing to this very bad person until President Trump came in and got behind Ron DeSantis, who saved Florida. Oh, man, if Andrew Gillum would have become our governor, we'd still be locked down. We'd have to go to North Korea for freedoms compared to what Andrew Gillum would have put us through. But he's an amazing guy. Ron DeSantis, the greatest governor in the history of governors, our second MAGA president in 2028, and hopefully vice president in Trump's second term in 24. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
California. My name is Sharon.
Hey, California. What's on your mind, Sharon?
I was going to ask you a few things. Would it be too obscure for the world to embrace, our nation, to embrace that nobody graduates from high school until they are able to memorize the Constitution?
Oh my gosh, I probably would still be in high school.
I think it's vital. I think
memorize it. I don't know about memorizing it, but they, I had something happen to me the other day that they don't teach American history any longer, or social studies. I was at Target the other day with my wife. We were checking out, and I was wearing a shirt that I picked up the last time I was at Cape Kennedy here in Florida, and Apollo 11 is a shirt for Apollo 11, and I'm in line, and the cashier, she's a young girl, working at Target. She keeps looking at my shirt. I'm wondering what is going on. It's not a MAGA shirt. And then she says, "What is that? What is that? Apollo?" I couldn't believe. I said, "Apollo 11." She said, "Yeah, what is that?" I said, "The first moon landing." And it had said underneath that, Armstrong, Collins, Aldrin, underneath. She did not know. I don't even know if she knew we went to the moon and back. She had no idea who Neil Armstrong was. She had no idea what the Apollo program was. They don't you question?
No.
Did we actually what?
Did we actually go to the moon?
Of course we did. Of course. Well, you and I didn't, but Americans went to the moon and returned. You question that too?
Only because somebody brought one thing up that was really interesting to me is when the phone call came into the Oval Office, somebody said, that phone call never happened. That phone call was completely fake. We did not have the technology to even broadcast from the moon to...
It was a radio signal. It was a radio signal, and Roger Ailes of Fox News worked at the Nixon White House at the time and coordinated that phone conversation. So you think Roger Ailes from Fox News brought a fraud of the... I'll tell you why I know for a fact that we went to the moon and back. Two reasons. One, I have met many astronauts from the Apollo program, okay, and all of them are egghead scientists. But they're not like government liars. But the main thing is the space program involved hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands just at NASA alone. There's no way they could keep something like that a secret. The government's too incompetent to keep something like that a secret. So no, we did go to the moon and return home. But back on topic, they don't teach American history, they don't teach social studies, they don't teach citizenship and all of those things that they used to teach, because it's ethnocentric racist history, right? It's his story, not our story, and all this crap. So I don't know about memorizing. Do you have the Constitution memorized?
God, no.
Well, then why do you think everybody else should be required to do it? Maybe you should memorize it first.
I need to memorize it, because I think we're just completely taking that beautiful document and just shredding it every day. It's been nothing but useless for people that have no idea what it even is. if you would have had a T-shirt on that said the Constitution, I don't know if that was a young woman behind the counter would have even recognized what that meant.
Well, liberals believe, and Obama used to talk about this. Liberals believe the Constitution does not apply, that it was written by white supremacists for the benefit of maintaining white supremacy. So, you know, and a lot of conservatives, Mark Levin's a big talker on this, a lot of conservatives talk about they want to have a convention of the states. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, because liberals would be there, and they would like nothing better than to have a new constitutional convention. Can you imagine? Your Bill of Rights would be burned. There'd be a whole new Bill of Rights.
Couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Already, it's looking pretty dim. But another question for you. I was curious if you ever heard of this man that's out there on the waves talking and writing books by the name of, well, he uses a pseudonym of Wano Sabin. Have you heard of him?
Who?
There's a man that has been writing books, and he's been on a lot of podcasts by the pseudonym Juan O. Sabin.
Never heard of him. What's his beef? What's his area?
I kind of.
Well, what's his thing? What's his line of things that he pushes? What does he write about?
Knows him.
Yeah, but what's his angle? What does he push? What's his? He writes books. What are they about?
He wrote The Kid on the Road. I don't know if you've heard of that. He is kind of indirectly, I don't think he's made the claim, but indirectly.
No, he's not. John Kennedy Jr. is dead. He died, what was it, 97 in the plane crash? People think, this guy you're telling me about, people think he's John F. Kennedy Jr.? John?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've been listening to him just kind of on a soft ear for about 5 years.
Well, you know, Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s around. Has Bobby Kennedy Jr. Commented on this guy?
One person asked him in a chat room and said, "Is John Kennedy Jr. still alive? Please touch your nose." And during...
You know, and so why, you know, if John Kennedy Jr., it was 99 when John Kennedy Jr. died. I guess, was it Diana 97 and JFK Jr. was 99? Okay, so you're not the first person I've heard talk about this return of John F. Kennedy Jr. If John F. Kennedy Jr. were alive today, what do you think he'd be doing?
That this person is claiming, everyone's claiming, is because he was such a handsome, the reluctant prince and all that.
Yeah. I
read a couple of his books. They said that his message would not be listened to because the...
Yeah, but what do you think, if John F. Kennedy Jr. had not died in that plane crash, when he... And by the way, of course he's dead. He was in that plane with his wife and his sister-in-law. He killed the kids of that whole family. So where are they? Are they with this guy you're telling me about? Are they hiding out from their parents? That's crazy talk. If John F. Kennedy Jr. were alive today, he would be a Democrat because the Kennedys are Democrats. He wouldn't be MAGA, right? I mean, look at... the Kennedy family does have one person that holds office right now. Mayor Pete Buttigieg is with the Kennedys. He was recruited by the Kennedys in high school, Carolyn Kennedy, and that's why he's modeled his whole life, other than being gay, after President Kennedy. If John F. Kennedy Jr. had never died and was alive, or was resurrected with Elvis Presley and Eddie Wilson, you know, everybody knows Eddie Wilson and whatever happened to Eddie. But if he came back with Eddie Wilson and Elvis Presley, he'd be a Democrat. And he would probably be the Democrat senator from New York or Massachusetts right now, John F. Kennedy Jr. So all these people talking about John F. Kennedy Jr., you know, no, I'm sorry. And this guy that you're talking about, I promise you, is not John F. Kennedy Jr. either.
Heard of him at all?
No, I've never heard of him, but I have heard people talk about what you're talking about with John F. Kennedy Jr., and he is sadly died in that plane crash, sadly. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. Very late for the top of the hour break. That's okay. We'll take our break and be back. My name's Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right. We'll be right back after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in the studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience.
Steve Kane Show.
My pillow mattress topper. Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost
who knows who Eddie Wilson is? Disappeared one night while he was out on a drive. Anyone know who Eddie Wilson is?
Makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up, no pain, I felt incredible. It made a huge, huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to mypillow.com.
You guys don't know who Eddie Cruiser is? Oh my goodness. Eddie Wilson, Eddie and the Cruisers. Lead singer of Eddie and the Cruisers. On the dark side. That's right. Eddie Wilson.
And get 2 free My Pillows. But you've got to use the promo code Kane at
Eddie and the Cruisers is awesome.
It comes in every size too.
Now let's see, without Googling it, what is the name of the band that actually sings on the dark side?
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
Don't Google it, not the Supremes. That's right, the Beaver Brown Band. That's correct, that's right. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, right on the money. Eddie and the Cruisers 2, Eddie Lives, sucks, but the first one's good. On the dark side, oh yeah.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Open enrollment is here. I Will Advisors is here to offer you an unbiased comparison of all your Medicare health insurance.
Oh, you're talking about Michael Pere, who was in the Philadelphia experiment and Streets of Fire. Michael Pere, he lives like in Europe. He lives like in Norway or Sweden or something. Oh, I love that song, On the Dark Side.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group.
I know, I have it in my head too. On the dark side. Someone called in who thinks JFK Jr. is still alive, working with Trump.
You are listening to South Florida's longest.
I know, I went long there. I lost track of time. That's what we got.
Call the show toll free.
All right, hour number 2 has begun very, very late because I went very, very long at the top of the hour when I should have broke. If you're on hold, stand by. Just let me quickly recap, then we'll get back to the phones and I'll bring up some new topics. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. If you're just tuning in, NewsMax TV, and they're not alone. But there was a huge, huge story coming out of the Rittenhouse trial. NewsMax TV reporting that one of the defense attorneys was overheard saying that the jury is split 6-6. So we're trying to figure out how could this be. You know, you've watched this trial, you've seen the evidence, you've seen the testimony, you've seen the videos. How is it possible that 50% of the jury is going guilty? How is that even possible? Is it this doxing? Is it the fear? Is it the mob outside chanting God only knows what? How is it possible? Or do we have a bunch of social justice warriors who have made their way to the jury. So that's what we're talking about right now. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Okay, I'd like to mention something about the trial. But first, if you don't mind, I'd like to mention something about this inflation. I was checking out in the supermarket, and an old woman was in front of me checking out, and she goes to pay with her, I guess it was her food card, and the guy says, "I'm sorry, I don't have enough money on it." So she says, "Oh, let me see what I can do." So she starts to take out her cash. She had a little bit of cash. I said, "Oh my God, it would be a terrible." She says, "Take this off, take this off." He's sitting there with a calculator. Anyway, long story short, she's almost ready. She needs some change. So she opens her bag, and she drops it on the floor, and I start picking up the change for her. And when I pick it up and give it to her hand, she's crying. And then I said, "That's it. I'll pay for it." And she says, "Oh, you don't have to do that." I says, "Nobody should have to go hungry because of this inflation. This is a terrible system, and I'm sorry."
Does anybody believe this line of crap?
She said, "Thank you very much." And she waited for me outside, wanted my phone number and my address to pay me back. I said, no, it's my gift. And,
does anyone believe this story?
I waited to see what kind of car she had to make sure she wasn't driving in a Mercedes or something. Anyway, she had an old Toyota. So it was really hurting a lot of people. And Joe Biden says this new plan he's having is not going to affect anybody. It's all paid for. Meanwhile, it's going to really hurt people a lot worse. And just have to get that out of it.
What were the groceries? Like, what were some of the items she had?
She had meat. That's the thing that pissed me off. She had to give up on meat because.
Well, what kind of meat? What kind of meat did she have?
She had looked like a little roast. She had and some chopped meat. It was the whole bill was only $38.43, which I paid for. So she had like that $17 on her in cash. And she didn't have enough money to.
Well, that was nice. That was nice of you. One of the nicest things I think I had ever done. But I just when I saw those kids, that got me. Yeah, when I was things are different now. When I was in high school and I worked at Publix. I was a bag boy and a stockman at Publix. And when it would get really busy, I'd run a cash register. And the way it used to work, this was before now, the EBT, it's like a debit card. But back then is when they had the food stamps. It looked like Canadian money, right? It was different colored things, to pay for. And when someone would come through the line and they were using food stamps, it was really embarrassing and awkward for them because everybody knows when they pull out the Canadian-looking money that it's food stamps, so people are always embarrassed. But you get two totals. You get a food stamp total, and then you get a cash total, because not everything is covered by food stamps, and the computer and the register knows. And you'd have to give them both totals, and people were just embarrassing. Now with the debit card, that it has an American flag on it. They just scan it, and then it takes some of the shame away, And I can understand people. I wouldn't want to, have to use an EBT card like that. I can understand that. What store was this at? Was this Publix? What store was it?
No, it was Western Beef.
Western Beef. Yeah. Yeah, well, good. See, she's shopping somewhere where it's lower. Publix is expensive.
The only time you have a good deal is when it's buy one, get one free. But other than that, the prices.
I've seen old timers come in I've been in line with old timers who will not do the buy one get one free BOGOs. They think it's a scam. And I've seen people get nasty with cashiers. They think that they're somehow going to get charged for the free thing. It's very strange. But anyway, okay, so you did some charity yesterday. You bragged about it so everybody knows you're charitable. That's good.
Okay, I wanted to mention about this trial. Everybody's hell, but these people out there are going to terrorize the jury, and I it's a tough thing, man. Especially if you have a family. What are you going to do? what are you going to do if you're going to find somebody guilty? I guess you have to find somebody guilty, otherwise they're going to destroy your family. I feel sorry for these people. They should have them sequestered. They should have not let anybody out. They should have just made this.
Well, we're getting a lot. Okay, now we're getting a lot of reporting out of Kenosha now that it's a liberal jury pool there. It's a liberal town. I don't know Kenosha too well. I just assume since they have open carry and people are walking around with AR-15s legally and everything, that it's a more conservative town. But, liberals, you know how liberals can be. So if it's a liberal jury pool and it's a liberal town, but this is the missing piece, because we've had two stories from the jury. Jack Prosobic, 2-3 days ago, said there were 2 holdouts. Now we got 6. So was Prosobic wrong? Did the liberals flip 4 other jurors to go guilty? What the hell's going on here? Especially with that new high definition tape. Are they in fear, hearing the mob, being followed by MSNBC? What's going on here? I mean, there's with everything that's going on, including the misconduct by these criminal prosecutors, it should be a mistrial with prejudice, so they can't come back at them.
Without a doubt, that's certainly the way. Hopefully, it's going to turn out, because boy, this guy is innocent. He protected himself, and he was stupid, but he protected himself. And for this jury to come out with a guilty,
yeah. Have you paid for someone's groceries before, or was this the first time you did it, Doug?
First time I ever did it. I almost did it once before. It was a funny story if you want to hear it. The woman her kid checked. She paid out with those old-fashioned food stamps. The old ones that you mentioned.
A long time ago, yeah.
So the kid says, "Can I have a candy bar?" And the mother says, "No." So I'm saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, let me take it." I was about to pay, and the woman takes out a wad of money with hundreds. I said, "She has a lot." And then I go,
"Wow."
She's ripping the system off. She's in a brand new Mercedes.
Well, you don't know. She was in a Mercedes and she had a wad of hundreds?
Brand new, yeah. She's ripping the system off. She's figured out a way to get over, and she's getting over, man.
Well, maybe that wasn't her car. Maybe she works for somebody that's got a fancy Mercedes, and, you don't know. You don't know. But, you're so charitable. Maybe next time Fox has their Patriot Awards, they can give you an award for your generosity.
Well, that'd be nice.
Now let me ask you: the woman whose groceries you paid for yesterday, how old was she?
She must have been close to 80.
80? Oh my goodness! 80? Really? Wow!
Nice, very nice lady. Dressed nicely.
That's awful. That's awful.
People have depending on.
I don't care what they say about you, Doug. You're a good guy.
That's what I'm saying.
I say I don't care what they say about you. You're a good guy.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. All right. Take care. He's charitable, but he brags about it. But that's okay. It's a good story. All right. Listen. Let's take our first break of the second hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Florida's longest-running radio show. Indeed, it is on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break and be right back after this.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We survived the 20.
I was being nice. I was fishing to see if the story was true. That's all. But it's true. He's telling the truth.
Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602.
Steve Kane Show.
Thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
This is Brian Craig. I've been
Okay, hold on.
about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place.
No, he was telling the truth.
Friendly Tire, everything you said it would be, man. I went up there, got me some...
Hector, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Hectory. Brazil did a new constitution in '88. They put so many specific rights, modern ideas, they outline, but they didn't outline how to finance them. It made it worse. Exactly. If the Democrats were redoing the Bill of Rights, for those that don't know, that's the first 10 amendments of the U.S. Constitution. What do you think the first right they would have there be? What would the First Amendment be if the liberals were redoing it? Well, thank you, my Rocco.
Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All righty. 22 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Friday morning, thankfully so. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the radio. She put the phone down once. Twice.
On the other one.
Oh, you got to listen on the phone. There's a delay. All right, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
I wanted to speak about putting Rittenhouse as a hero. I can understand how people would do that. I don't. But if they allow us to take over our cities, to burn up all the cars and all the lots, to destroy towns after they've destroyed for 2 years all the small businesses, and we don't allow someone that came with his buddies thinking that the intimidation factor of a weapon would influence the ability of those people that are there an hour away from Chicago. If we don't stand with him, we're standing with the other side.
Well, hold on, slow down here. I support Kyle Rittenhouse. He shot 3 people, killed 2 in self-defense, and should be acquitted. But I wouldn't call him a hero. I mean, I think that's not a good thing to do in this case. We don't, what happened in Kenosha happened, and what I mean, everything that happened in Kenosha, including Kyle, happened mainly because the authorities let it happen. I mean, remember, even after the first shooting with Kyle, what did he do? He ran to a cop and tried to turn himself in. Cop sprayed mace at him or something, said, "Get out of here." He went with this big gun and said, "I just shot someone," and the cop just sent him on his way. So the system broke down. It was that area in Kenosha was complete anarchy because the government, whose chief responsibility is public safety, especially local government, let it happen. So that's the other reason. But out of now Kyle Rittenhouse was legally in possession of his AR-15, no question about it, and I certainly support that. But out of everyone there, why was he being attacked? Do you think? Why were these Antifa thugs and felons like the kick man trying to do a Reginald Denny on Rittenhouse? Why did they target him out of everyone there?
Because he stood up to them. He turned dumpster fire.
No. And please don't misunderstand me, because I support Kyle Rittenhouse and I want him acquitted on all charges, okay? It's because he had the gun. He legally had the gun, and he was in his rights to defend himself, but if he didn't have the gun, I don't think they would have targeted him. There were a lot of people there, but he was getting targeted.
Back up a little bit. When all of these troubles started in our world, it was when Nancy Pelosi launched the impeachment episode again, right at the same time.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with Kenosha? We're talking about Kenosha.
Fearful to not go out of our houses. How many times have you been out of your house? You're in Florida, so it doesn't really count. But I'm in a safe place. and I still don't go out of my house.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
They intimidate.
Where are you? Where are you calling me from?
I'm from Joplin, Mo.
Where's that at? What state?
Missouri.
Missouri? You're afraid to go out in Missouri?
There's fearful people out there.
What's the big city you're closest to?
Tulsa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this is the deal, okay? I'm a gun owner. I have several weapons at home. My most recent one is a Glock 48 that I bought in April for my birthday, which I love. The Glock 48 is an awesome handgun. Very awesome, easy to use. But my guns, the only time my guns leave the house are when I'm going to the gun range to practice, right? I don't go hunting anymore. You know, I did when I was a kid. And I talk a lot. I don't have a concealed weapons permit. Steve tells me I should never tell people about this. But I do support people having concealed weapons permit. I'm thinking of getting a concealed weapon permit because when I want to buy a gun, I don't have to wait 10 days to get it if I have the permit, you know. But I wouldn't carry a gun. Why do you think I'm a strong conservative MAGA guy? I've owned guns since I was 12 years old. I've had guns. I have multiple guns now. Okay? Why do you think I don't take a gun out with me?
You don't want to be targeted. But
No. A gun, A gun escalates things oftentimes, okay? George Zimmerman, textbook example with Trayvon Martin, right? You know, a gun, people, hey, I am not opposed to open carry, and I'm not opposed to concealed carry. I support all of that. And Kyle Rittenhouse was within his rights. Now, I don't know if I think it's a good idea for 17-year-old kids to be running around with long rifles. I wouldn't let my son do that if I had one. If my daughter's 22, I would try to stop her if I could from doing such a thing. Don't misunderstand. But the gun escalates things. The gun escalates things, especially when you're dealing with criminals. Like Kyle was facing down criminals. And, if Zimmerman... if Zimmerman didn't have that gun that night on him, which he was really not qualified to have because he's a clown and an instigator, we never would have heard of him or Trayvon Martin, and Trayvon would be alive. And if Kyle was there just doing first aid and didn't have the AR-15, I don't think they probably would have targeted him.
But once it happened, there's a bigger force that's manipulating this, and we may win the battle, and Kyle may get off.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope he's acquitted. I want him acquitted. I don't want another I mean, it's total self-defense.
But still, these people that want to destroy our country so they can build it into a different system of government where they're all in power, they've still won the war.
Well, what we're finding out now is we have 4 people that we know of that were involved with Kyle, right? 3 that he shot, and then the guy that was kicking him, right? In the head, he's been identified. Of the 4, and these are all Antifa, BLM people, right? Of the 4, 3 of them are felons. Of the 4. So, I mean, it shows us you've got criminals. And I've been saying for years, I've talked about for years how I don't carry a weapon. Because if you are a legal gun owner like I am, like Kyle Rittenhouse was not an owner because he wasn't old enough, but he was legally in possession of it. If you're a conservative, me, you, Kyle Rittenhouse, and we're out and about, and we have our legal gun, we have a legal permit, we can open carry, we have to use our weapon in self-defense, what is the profile of the person you would typically have to use the gun against?
A criminal.
Well, but politically, typically you're going to be dealing with a criminal who's a liberal, because most violent criminals are liberals. And look what happens. You know, if you're a certain type, like me, if I had to use my gun in self-defense, God help me if it was for a black guy that was trying to kill me or my family. What would they do to me? A MAGA guy, conservative radio talk show host, they'd bury me under the jail, you know? You know what I mean? So the best thing to do, I believe, is leave your guns home. I own guns. I'm a strong supporter. The best thing to do is leave your guns home. They trigger these lunatics. Just
this happened right after Kamala Harris started a bail fund to get all these people out.
That sure, she was an instigator too. Yeah, Kamala Harris, with the bail fund, you're right on the money with that. Absolutely. But I'll tell you, I don't want people to think I don't support Kyle Rittenhouse. I support Kyle Rittenhouse. He should be acquitted. He had every right to have that gun, But just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you should do it.
Your battle that we've got to think about, that someone's got to be the first one to dance, and when that person's brave enough to get up to dance, the rest of us need to dance. We support you. No, I don't want to say he's a hero, but I won't get mad at anybody that says that he is a hero, because I can see why.
Well, this is the thing. I don't want other 17-year-old kids picking up long rifles and going to political events, even violent or not violent, because they can. I don't go to I go to MAGA events, but I don't go to non-MAGA events anymore, because you've got these leftists here that are animals and they're violent, and I've been attacked by liberals at events on more than one occasion. I've been assaulted and attacked by liberals at events. I don't go. It's not safe. I'll go to a MAGA event. That's safe space, right? Because those are good people. But if you go any place where there's liberals, and I've got this MAGA hat on, watch out. Right?
That's really just 10% that are criminals that are at the top of the food chain that are getting like Durham indictments now. And once we get the Hillary people cleared out.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, listen. Thanks for the call, Missouri. I didn't realize Missouri was so dangerous, but apparently it is. She's afraid to leave her house in Missouri. I can believe it. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's our number. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Hi everyone, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Scott, when you install radiant barrier,
Steve Kane Show.
It saves the money every month on their electric
Yep,
bill
hold on.
forever. But right now you're offering a huge discount. Why are you able to save Steve Kane listeners so much on radiant barrier right now?
Winter is just about upon us, and our guys are able to move really quick, really fast, really efficient in your attic. So if you need any work up in your attic, such as radiant barrier to cut your electric bill 30 to 40%.
Now listen, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and everybody please like the video.
Time of the year, because the attic's much cooler. The guys are just much more efficient. We literally get done with the work in like half the time that it normally takes when it's hot out, because in the summer literally you can only work in the attic for maybe an hour at a time, then you have to take a break.
That's true, Ferguson. I forgot about Ferguson. Yeah.
Radiant barrier literally cuts the temperature in your attic 30.
I don't live in fear.
It cuts your AC run time.
I don't live in fear. Do I look fearful?
Temperature in your garage 10 to 15 degrees. A lot of people have their air conditioning starts up and the ducts blow out hot air for the first couple minutes. Radiant barrier, when it lowers the temperature in the attic and stops that radiant energy transfer from heating up the ducts, it stops all of that.
Take advantage of those huge winter discounts right now. Save money every month on your electric bill forever. 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, from the Panhandle to Key West and everywhere in between, give them a call. 954-939-1500. Online, cutmykilowatts.com.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the San
Oh, Hector, thank you for that super chat. Everyone thank Hector.
Meadow Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7.
No, I'm not attacked. I support Kyle Rittenhouse. I support him. He legally had the gun. He should be acquitted. It was self-defense. But it doesn't mean that you... I think the gun is what triggered those snowflakes, is what I'm saying.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, and any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs, both open on Saturdays, no appointment necessary. And we're joined by Steve Kane. Hey, Steve.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll be back to the phones in a minute. I'm doing well. How are you? You sound fine.
Headset.
Well, I don't know. You sound fine to me, Steve, so I don't know. All right.
This segment, let me see if it...
Okay. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1's the number. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Segment, let me see if it...
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
All right.
Mike, turn the volume down of whatever device you're listening to me on, okay?
Yeah, you hear me?
I hear you fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So there's a few things. I'm surprised that the judge is still allowing this. It's 3 times that they've been trying to get at the jury, and I'm surprised he's let it get 3 times. You know, you had the MSNBC guy following the bus. You had the guy actually take a picture of the jury, or a video of the jury, and then you had George Floyd's nephew, I think it was, or something, that came out and said, we have your guys' pictures, we need what happened to the Chauvin trial.
Well, yeah, I saw that video, George Floyd's nephew. Well, here's what... Now, again, I could be completely wrong about this, but I think the judge has been waiting to see if he's going to get a jury acquittal, because if he does a mistrial with prejudice, that's not the same as being acquitted. That's not the same. So the judge can declare a mistrial with prejudice even after a jury verdict. But this new story on NewsMax came out last night that they're split 6-6. I don't see how that's possible in this case. The evidence is clear. He is not guilty of all charges, complete self-defense in every instance. And for 6 of the jurors, it looks like a hung jury, but for 6 of the jurors to be going guilty, to me, tells me that some of these people are compromised, probably out of fear.
And that's why I bring up why the judge has allowed it to go on. I mean, they're not even going to prosecute these guys for tampering with the jury. That's a crime. But
well, I tell you, somebody should be thinking about prosecuting the prosecutors. I mean, they're hiding evidence. They're lying to judges.
Simply did that. Yes, they did that on purpose. The prosecution did that on purpose.
Absolutely.
I don't know. This judge, he was going after prosecution at first, so now they're going to get some more.
I don't know. The judges seemed all right to me, but if he does a mistrial, there's with prejudice where they can come back at Kyle. There's the way I described it earlier. Kyle Rittenhouse will always have an asterisk next to his name. It's better for him to get a not guilty verdict, but at this point, it doesn't look possible. And again, I could be reading this judge completely wrong, but to me, it sounds like the judge will do the mistrial if he has to. He doesn't want Kyle to go to jail, and he certainly doesn't want him in front of another judge who may let this prosecution get away with all their garbage.
All right, so going forward, in your point of view, though, with if supposedly it is 6-6, what would you think happens at this point, the next step then?
Well, at some point, the judge is going to talk to them if they can render a verdict or not. And if they're hung, he could call for declare a hung jury, and the prosecution could make a decision to go for a second trial or not, or he could do the mistrial with prejudice so that the prosecution can't come back at him. But I'm telling you, I think that this Biden regime, I think this Garland guy that's running the Justice Department will find some federal charge to go after Kyle Rittenhouse on.
No, that's probably it. I mean, definitely this whole thing is obviously
No, I haven't been paying attention to the other trial. Have you?
Yeah, I've been following. I haven't been following it as closely as this one. The Aubrey case, the guy's obviously guilty. I mean, I watched the testimony of the. He shot Aubrey. Was it 3 times? 3 times or 4 times? He shot him multiple times with a shotgun. You have to pump that shotgun every time. He shot him multiple. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4. And he even told the prosecutor on cross-examination yesterday that he wasn't being threatened by Aubrey. I mean, that guy's just a sick, racist murderer. There's no comparison should be made between the two.
And yet they pay more attention to that. And literally, there have been comparisons to the both. They're both white supremacists. And so it's like, I don't understand. They're reaching for Kyle to be a white supremacist because he did an okay sign in a video.
This okay sign being white supremacy, I'm a big fan of Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop. If you go back to the end of Beverly Hills Cop and other Eddie Murphy movies at the time, the okay sign was the I'll be back signature of Eddie Murphy. He did the okay sign at the end of all of his movies. Eddie Murphy, all of them. And Eddie Murphy's black. So, I mean, I don't understand why the okay sign is all of a sudden a white supremacist sign. But this thing with Kyle Rittenhouse, the jury being 6-6 right now, if that is true, Newsmax TV reported it last night. If that's true, I mean, you're not going to convince 6 people to flip.
Don't think they even convinced. I think it was more of 2 people were holding out. I think it was more 2 people are still holding out. I don't see how there could be 6 people all together. I don't think any of them believe that he's guilty. I still believe that only 2 of them are still afraid.
Well, there's another possibility. The story on Newsmax was that one of the defense attorneys was heard saying it in the hallway. The defense attorney could have said that as a media leak to get a story going, to try to get, the defense won a mistrial, with prejudice from this judge. So the defense lawyers could have just said that to try to get a news cycle going, because the judge let us know that he's been watching all the news and the pundits.
Pushing the defense for the last 3 days now. He's been pushing for a mistrial because of the prosecutor. What they're like, well, they didn't give us this. Well,
there is this thing about the jury. Even one jury. This case is. I was talking about this earlier. This is a very unusual murder trial because it has some things that you normally do not have in a murder trial. Witnesses. Typically, murderers kill the witnesses, right? That's why Ron Goldman was killed by O.J. He happened upon O.J. killing Nicole. He was a witness.
Talking about O.J. was apparently innocent.
No, he was guilty. One of the jury members gave him the black power fist when he left the jury box after the acquittal, and but no. Typically, the witnesses are killed by the murderer. So we've got multiple witnesses, including the guy that he shot that lived, saying that it was self-defense, and we have video all over the place. Typically, murderers don't do it in front of dozens of cameras recording things. So we've got to, and there's no question he's not guilty of all the charges.
Well, typically murderers don't run towards the police either.
Well, and there's something to be said about that. After the first incident, after the first shooting, and that guy died, Kyle Rittenhouse immediately went to surrender to a police officer who sprayed mace at him and told him to get the hell out of here. And then the other 2 shootings happened. So everything in Kenosha happened because a breakdown of the system. This defund the police trend that was going on last year, where local governments and chiefs of police and sheriffs got all cowardly and decided that they were going to let Antifa and BLM burn these places down, put in place this entire... It was the purge. Kenosha was the purge.
They did was instead of arresting Antifa, they arrested people that were supporters of the police. They actually went after them, and I'm just like, I don't understand, you guys. Antifa's the one burning down places. BLM is burning down.
And the other thing is, Kyle Rittenhouse had encounters with 4 people directly, right? The 3 he shot, and then before the first shooting, the guy that was to kick him in the head, all right? So 4 people. of the 4 people, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all, of the 4, 3 of them were felons. What are the odds of that? 3 of the 4 were felons.
Hey, well, here's another thing, too. I'm glad you brought that part up. The jury doesn't know about Rosenbaum coming out of a mental asylum. They did that without the jury knowing. That the judge says, no, they don't need to know where he's coming out of. They don't need to know anything other than the medicine that they opened, that the prosecutor mentioned, so that opened it up. The judge says they don't need to know about the asylum that he came out of, about him trying to kill himself for the second time. They also didn't know about that was convicted.
Well, listen, I gotta run for a break. But where are you calling us from?
North Dakota.
Okay, North Dakota. How'd you find the show?
I just found you during the election. I was just looking through, and then I saw you.
Okay, well, welcome. Thanks. Anna, you called the other day. You're a good caller. Thanks so much. All right, take care. Take care. Show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Let's take that break. We'll be right back.
We all know how beautiful and lush Florida is, with the abundance of trees and bushes. But if you want your
Steve
home
Kane
to
Show.
look great, all of that greenery needs to be
Hey, hold on.
trimmed and well kept. So when it comes to trimming your trees, you want a pro, one who knows how to cut, when to cut, and the difference in each type of tree. And the best in South Florida are the professionals at GoPro Professional Property Care. With over 50 years of experience in South Florida, they know what's best for your trees and how to make your home look spectacular. With all the electrical wiring around, tree trimming is too dangerous to do yourself and requires a professional that you will not find by hiring just some guy with a truck who knocks on your front door. In fact, tree trimming is so much more than just cutting branches. It's about maintenance and keeping your trees healthy and having curb appeal. GoPro Professional Property Care is licensed and insured, available 24/7 for any tree emergency. GoPro does it all too: tree trimming, pruning, tree removal,
Steve Kane Show.
root removal, lawn care, and installation.
Hey, hold on.
And that's just the start.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Click the notification bell. We're on a bunch of radio stations live every morning here in Florida. So AM and FM radio stations. And we live stream here on YouTube weekday mornings from 6 till 9 a.m. Eastern Time when we're on the radio, taking live calls from our radio listeners, you guys on YouTube. And I put a lot of other content up here all the time, too, including my podcast, and I do random live streams and all kinds of things. All right, callers on hold, stand by. We're going to try to reconnect with Steve Kane. Steve, you there?
Here.
What's the problem? You sound great.
I'm hearing my voice repeated, and it said, call me on my cell.
You want me to call you on your cell? Oh, okay. I'll do that while I'm talking. Okay, we're going to do it by the phone. Okay, I'm going to call. We'll connect with Steve over the phone, but first let's take a call while we're doing that. All right, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Nebraska right now.
Hey, Nebraska. How you doing?
You're all right. On this Rittenhouse,
Yes.
there's actually 4 felons. All 4 of the guys that he shot at were felons.
Really, both of them? I only thought one he shot was one he killed was a felon. The guy that kicked him in the head's a felon. The guy he shot that lives is a felon. But the 4th guy I didn't know was a felon. That's a new one. Oh, okay. Okay, I did not know that, but I believe you. Yeah. Yeah, so we got it. I mean, think about this. We've got a 17-year-old child. Okay, you with us, Steve? All right, hold on. I got Steve on the phone. We got a 17-year-old child who is being attacked by 4 men. At least 3 of them are felons. You're telling me the 4th is a felon. You know, do you have kids, caller?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I have a daughter. If if my 17-year-old child is being attacked by adult men, 3 of them felons, they got to do what they got to do. You know what I mean? It's not even up for debate.
Nope.
All right. Hey, listen, Nebraska. Thanks for the call. All right, let's see if we got Steve on the phone. You with us, Steve?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you were sounding fine on the connection from the studio, but I guess you couldn't hear, so that's okay. I was very concerned about you this morning. I was going to tell you off the air, but you want me to tell you on the air? You called me 13 times between 3:45 a.m. and 4:35 a.m. 13 times. And I called you back several times and I didn't get an answer. If somebody calls at that hour of the morning, they're either in jail or they died. And then you didn't answer the phone, so.
Trying to get a hold of you, but
I called you back. It must have been 13 times. It said 13 missed calls, Steve Kane. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
That's what counts.
That's right. You're here now. All right. We'll go back to the phones. If we lose the connection with you, I'll call you back, okay? I think I got you locked in. But all right. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. It's Andrew.
Hey, Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
How are you?
Good.
I'm feeling just great. So, I'm super concerned that they're going to sentence Kyle. I think that the level of jury intimidation between the mainstream media, these people like George Floyd's cousin saying, oh, we have people in the courtroom, I think these people are scared. They're scared that their city is going to burn down again.
Let me tell you why you don't have to worry. Okay, let me tell you this. I hear the concern in your voice. I would have the concern too, but I have faith in the judge. I think we're reading too much into this. I think the judge, what we know on the bottom line, the judge knows that it was self-defense. The judge, I think, is in a protective head for what's his name?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse. And I don't think the judge is going to let anything bad happen. I think he'd like to get a jury decision, but if he doesn't get a jury decision, I think he's going to intercede, and he's not going to let Rittenhouse go to jail. I really don't.
Well, I hope that is not the case. But
you hope it's not the case?
No, she misspoke. You hope that is the case. You don't want him convicted.
No, I do not want him convicted. I think that it was the clearest case of self-defense probably ever.
There is so much, well, not only that, I mean, that's the bottom line, but above and beyond that, there are so many screw-ups in this trial. The judge has ample, I mean, I don't see how the judge could not take over if he was convicted and throw out the verdict. I mean, I can't imagine how. I mean, there's so many things to appeal on here. It just, the trial was an F-up from the beginning.
Well, I also think that the guy, I just can't stand him, who pointed the gun at the jury, I think once that happened,
the prosecutor.
Once the prosecutor pointed that gun at the jury with his finger on the trigger,
it's just one of many instances that throw this trial in questionable light. And then there were, I mean, Brian, I've heard you say that you agree that the judge is not going to let anything bad happen to the region.
Yeah, but he's trying to get an acquittal because if the mistrial with prejudice, it'll always follow him around not being acquitted. So he wants the acquittal.
But if he doesn't get it, he's not going to let conviction.
It'll be like that baseball player that broke all the records when he was on roids, you know.
Oh, yeah.
With the asterisk next to his name in the book.
Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
But to me, when the prosecutor did that, that almost looked to me like a veiled threat.
This is what the prosecutor was doing. The prosecutor, I'm talking about the skinny prosecutor, not the fat guy. He's the one that pointed Kyle's gun at the jury, finger on the trigger aimed. He's a liberal. The prosecutor's a liberal. Liberals are terrified of guns. They see a gun, no matter who has it, even a cop, right? They freak out. So he was trying to scare the jury and show them what it would look like to have a gun pointed at them.
From the minute that happened, there was yet another example of a problem with the case that could get through.
Well, but the problem is, Steve, what we were talking. How can there be a 6-6 split right now with all this crap we're seeing in the courtroom? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if you look at the other thing, right, all those people that Kyle Rittenhouse shot were all felons. So let's connect the dots for a second. What happened in Democratic-run cities during COVID? They opened up the jail.
Yeah.
Right? So they let out a whole bunch of felons.
Yeah.
Andrea, he's not going to go to jail. My personal assurance he's not going to go to jail.
I hope to God that he doesn't go to jail, because that to me would signal the end of the justice system.
Mm-hmm.
Know it.
Yeah.
Jump to one other thing, and then I'm going to go. So I get up really early to teach boot camp. So I was up at 2:45, and I flipped on the vote for the Build Back Better, where Kevin McCarthy is on the floor speaking for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right? And I happened to catch a portion of it where he's saying he's tired of this, the American people are tired of this, and that Republicans have to stand together and, you know, don't worry about losing your seat, worry about America. And literally, the visceral reaction I had to this was just astounding to me. I went from, like, I am just furious that the Republican Party is just, they think that the American people are stupid enough to believe
Yeah.
they are now going to rally for America.
Yeah. All of a sudden. Yeah. Kevin McCarthy, who was yelling at President Trump on January 6th on the phone. Yeah. Yeah, I don't... Kevin McCarthy, I call him the Judas of Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't have Trump's back. He's not for us. He pulled that stunt to make it look... He's like a Donnie Brasco, you know?
Important thing, which is what happens with this bill, which will destroy the economy of the country for the foreseeable future. We're back where we started. We were counting on cinema and the
Mansion
to hang tough, and I have no faith that that's going to happen. I think there's going to get a lot of stuff thrown out of what the House is sending over, and but they're going to get a bill. That's all. It's just a question of how much, and get rid of that damn thing with the IRS.
Oh, but I don't know what you're worried about. Didn't you hear Biden, Steve? It's all paid for. So I don't know what you guys are worried about. It's all paid for. Biden said so. It's free.
Watching that.
They're going to full court press. So at one point, Kevin McCarthy said the people didn't elect Joe Biden to be FDR, and AOC yelled from the back of the room, "I did."
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you see that Biden didn't let who was it he didn't let on Air Force One? Was it Tlaib? He wouldn't let one of the squad on Air Force One because they voted against the bill. I think it was Tlaib. Good for him. Yeah, I never thought I'd agree anything Biden ever did, but he did. I would love to have been there when they told her she couldn't get on Air Force One. She must have thrown a fit. Don't you know who I am? I'll tell my friends at CARE. They'll be very upset. Hey, Andrea, take care. Take care. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Those of you on hold, stand by. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We'll come back with your call. Steve with us via phone today. We'll take our break. Third and final hour starts right now.
Got you covered. AM 1470. FM 95.3.
I just, on my computer, hold on my iPad, hold on.
WWNN, Pompano Beach.
This is a picture of me and Steve on the last cruise at our sail-away party on the bow of the ship. Hey. It's not the best picture of me, but yeah. And it's really sad. Over our shoulder right here is our friend that died last year. He was killed in a car accident, our good friend. Todd, yeah. So we're going to have another one of these parties, too, on the next one, if you guys join us. Yeah, this is the helicopter pad. We get a private party. on it. What's the, oh yeah. Listen though, don't put this number on the board because he doesn't want anybody to have his cell. Okay.
Because with the promo code Kane, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress.
Yeah, it just popped up on my iPad for some reason. I don't know why.
Pillows, but you've got to use the promo code Kane at checkout. Kane. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code Kane, Kane at mypillow.com.
Yeah, this is another one on the cruise. That's me and my daughter, and that was the cruise director actually on the last cruise. The cruise director.
Testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test.
Let's see what else we have.
Any lab test now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough.
So you just hit it a second time?
You set on the bottom. If you hit it twice, they're locked in.
What?
If you hit it twice, they're locked in. You can conference.
But if you only hit it once, it drops the call.
If you hit it once, it's on the air. If you hit it twice, it's locked in.
Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great
Where is
deals
it?
and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and
Yeah, this is one of our other trips. This is in the Virgin Islands. It's me standing up high in the Virgin Islands on the edge of a mountain. See what other pictures I got here.
What's your name? Antonio. All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we...
Yeah, this is one of the shows we were at in the theater on the ship.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445.
I got all kinds of pictures coming up here on my iPad. This is, any of you guys know Adam the Woo? This is me and Adam the Woo at Disney World. It's actually the gas station right outside Disney World. We had to wear a mask. They made us wear masks. That was a while back. That's the first day Disney reopened. Let's see what else I got here. Here's our group at the sail away party. Hold on. That's us on the bow having our champagne as we're coming into. This is sailing into San Juan Harbor in Puerto Rico. Here's Steve sipping some champagne at the party. You call him, you take the top line, you just put him on hold, and then I'll take him.
Show toll free. Dial 1-888-GO-KANE.
You can, Eric.
1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE. 1. And now, here's...
All right, third hour has begun. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay, now if I think I've got you locked in, if I disconnect you, I'll call you back. You want to go back to the phones? What do you want to do? All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Pearl Springs.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brian. One of the things that I'm concerned about is if the judge has to throw this out, it might impact Kyle being able to have a decent defense or a case in a civil suit because if the jury didn't make the decision, the judge did. And there's so many people that he needs to go after for character assassination and defaming him and all different
I
kinds
think
of stuff.
I think you're complicating this thing unnecessarily. He's worried about going to jail for the rest of his life. The civil suits are secondary at this point. Don't you agree?
Oh, I agree, but I have enough confidence that he's going to get out of it. But he needs to get payback from people that did stuff to him. You know, this is terrible.
Well, he's already had a job offer. Matt Gaetz has offered him an internship at his congressional office. Yeah.
That would be great.
He'll land on his feet. He'll land on his feet.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Maybe he could replace Wayne LaPierre heading up the NRA.
Been through so much, and I'm sure his dad has too. And this is terrible. You know, like his family's been trashed, run out of town. You know, scared that something's going to happen to him. It's terrible.
No, I mean the whole thing is terrible. But Kyle Rittenhouse, he'll be free. He's not going to go to jail. I agree with Steve. I don't think he's going to go to jail. Now, if he would have killed, if one of the three he shot were black, he'd be done.
Well, yeah. Well, good thing it wasn't. You know, he could have killed that one guy, the jump kick guy, and if he would.
The one black guy involved, he didn't shoot. Yeah. At 17, he's very wise. That's another thing. The prosecutor claimed they didn't know who that was. They knew who he was. He had contacted the prosecutors and tried to make a deal for his testimony. The prosecutors, I should go to jail. They've been lying to the court, doing all kinds of things.
At least disbarred would be a good start.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen. Thanks for the call. All right. I saw this story. You may have seen this, Steve. Kyle was hit in the head with a skateboard, and they act like, oh, big deal, skateboard. Santa Ana, California, ABC Channel 7, Los Angeles reporting. That's KABC. A man was killed after being hit in the head with a skateboard during a fight in Santa Ana at a Starbucks location. So skateboard fight and killed a man. So there you go. It happens. Oh my gosh, skateboards can be deadly. Now, on the other hand, that Aubrey trial, though, you've been watching the Aubrey trial, Steve?
Yeah, I think I watched a lot of that yesterday. That's been in many ways a more interesting case, because their race is involved. With Kyle, there's no race is not an issue. But
yeah,
the issue in the Atlanta shooting, they executed this guy.
Oh yeah. The guy yesterday, he was when he was being questioned by his attorney the day before, he sounded like, he was okay, like he didn't have a worry in the world, and that lady prosecutor questioned him. He didn't look so happy yesterday. I mean, he's
not a good liar. The lying is one thing, but lying and getting away with another. When the prosecutor was giving him the questions, he was lost. He was obviously.
I would be surprised if that guy's not in the Klan, the Atlanta guy, the Georgia guy. That guy. That's just. That guy's just racist. And he shot. How many times did they shoot Aubrey? 3 times, 4 times, multiple times with a shotgun, which means he had to pump it every time. So no, that guy, he's guilty as hell.
Aubrey didn't have any weapons, and the guy was trying to claim self-defense.
Yeah, you can't claim self-defense when you're chasing someone down the street. I would disagree. They describe him as a jogger. I wouldn't say Aubrey was a jogger, but he might have been jogging at that point in time. He was obviously a petty thief, maybe a burglar, but he was burglarizing a place where there was no one home, and he wasn't threatening anybody. And these guys that trapped him, he tried to get away more than once and shot him. This guy's guilty as hell. They're going to go to jail. That one's not even up for debate. Well, they seem to think they have a friendly jury, but I don't know. I'd be shocked.
It is the Deep South, so.
It's further north than we are. We're deeper south than those guys. Yeah, I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Lori from the Virgin Islands.
Hey, how you doing? Lori in the Virgin Islands?
I recognize that picture that you showed from Mountaintop, and that's Megan's Bay in the back.
Oh, during the break, I was showing people on YouTube pictures of our cruises, Steve, and I was showing some pictures of you and I on the cruise, and a picture of me on top of a mountain drinking a beer in the Virgin Islands. And now this caller's listening from the Virgin Islands. I love the Virgin Islands. It was very nice.
I have a comment on the Rittenhouse trial. I think what the judge is doing, he is letting everything play out And then, at the end of everything, he's going to make his decision.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. You know, there's some reports coming out about the jury that they got a lady Ford person, and she's liberal. And apparently Kenosha is a liberal community. From what I'm being told, I don't know, but you know, that's what's being reported. You know, but I don't know if I believe the jury's 6-6 split. I don't know if I believe that.
Brian and I seem to agree on this, and if what we're saying is true, it doesn't really matter about the jury, because the jury is not going to, the judge's not going to let the jury go the wrong way.
Let's hope. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. Now, this was a story you mentioned. I forgot to bring this up yesterday. I teased it and didn't get to it about Alec Baldwin, so I pulled it up for you. This was in the New York Post 2 days ago. Here's the headline. Alec fired a gun toward cinematographer Halyna Hutchins on the Rust movie set, disregarding set protocol in the deadly shooting, according to a new lawsuit filed Wednesday. I saw Alec going through his movement with the gun for the camera, said Mamie Mitchell. Boy, that's some name. Her name is Mamie. Mammy. I think it's Mammy. M-A-M-I-E. Mammy. Oh, my goodness. Said Mammy Mitchell, the script supervisor on the set who called 911 when Alec Baldwin shot and killed Hutchins and injured the director. I was holding my script in my left hand and had taken out my iPhone and opened up my photos to check the continuity on his shirt and vest. Then an explosion, deafening, loud gunshot. I was stunned. I heard someone moaning, and I turned around, and my director was falling backwards and holding his upper body. I turned around toward Alec and saw Halyna going down to the left of me. This is the script supervisor, the eyewitness. She said Alec Baldwin intentionally, without just cause or excuse, cocked and fired and loaded gun. She says he loaded it. And even though the upcoming scene to be filmed did not call for the cocking and firing of the firearm. She also said safety protocol designed to ensure safety with a firearm on set was ignored, such as the presence of live ammo on the set. And that she's saying that Alec Baldwin loaded the gun himself. She said, let me read, her attorney is Gloria Allred, by the way. I know. This is what she said. Let me read it again. I'll read it slowly. Alec Baldwin intentionally, without just cause or excuse, Gloria Allred's writing her statements, obviously, cocked and fired and loaded gun, even though the upcoming scene to be filmed did not call for the cocking and firing of a firearm. She said he cocked and fired and loaded gun. So she's saying that Alec Baldwin loaded the gun himself. Well, that's what she said. This is in the New York Post.
I think he obviously fired the gun.
But she said he loaded it, and she also said, yeah, well, she also said, though, the scene didn't call for that to happen. So that implies he was kind of goofing off and being reckless when it wasn't. Well, that's manslaughter. He's got to have some. I mean, you think he'll ever end up in court? Alec Baldwin, a criminal court? Really?
No,
you can't. A criminal case? I'm not talking about a civil lawsuit. I mean criminal. You don't think they'll go after him in Arizona criminally? He shot 2 people, killed 1. Who's more likely to go to jail, Alec Baldwin or Rittenhouse?
There was too much money involved.
Really? He's not really a movie star anymore.
He's a bankable commodity.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to want to work with him after this, though? Maybe Kevin Spacey can co-star with him in something.
That's a different question.
Yeah. All right, listen, let's take our break. If you're on hold, stand by. 16 minutes after the hour, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break and be right back.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to a Champagne Automotive and...
Steve Kane Show. Hey, Barry, hold on. All right, 17 minutes after the hour, it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Hey, Attorney Barry Siegel, how's it going?
Good morning. How you doing today?
We're doing great. What do you have for us this morning?
You know, unfortunately, I see these situations arise all the time where people who haven't done any planning or haven't updated or haven't done sufficient planning end up with situations that they really would not have wanted. Of course, one thing could be that their assets could end up going where they did not want it to go to what we call unintended heirs. They could have people in place making decisions for them during incapacity that they would not have wanted. Maybe they did in the past and not a good choice anymore, or if they have no planning, then the rules of intestacy, the state laws can take over. And then, the other thing is that without the proper planning, where all they really had to do, make some decisions and sign some papers, but instead now they have to go to court, or the family has to go to court to get a guardian named, and they could have just made their own decision and signed a piece of paper and avoided all that cost, hassle, problems, and possibly even having the wrong person in place. So really the message on this Friday is, if you haven't done your planning, make sure you plan, and if you haven't
Have you ever heard of someone's ex-wife inheriting? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, in fact, I've seen cases where things like that have happened. Because when people are going through a divorce, a lot of times they don't ever update their estate plans. So I've seen it happen.
That's insane. That's insane. Listen, none of these things have to happen because you can have a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group to review all of your documents, so all these things are taken care of. Give them a call. The number's toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend. We will talk next week.
And everyone.
All right, take care. All right, I got you back here, Steve. You know, President Trump said that Alec Baldwin shot them on purpose. You know, he's got a hot temper. He's got a temper. So,
I don't think.
Yeah.
God. Why? There's nothing indicates he was even mad at anybody.
Yeah. You know, last night, I was at home last night doing what I do, which is I'm always like streaming on YouTube and things like this. And I was in bed last night and I was streaming on YouTube, and in the chat room, some people started, they were talking about The Godfather for some reason, the movie, and I was telling everyone how your first wife left you for Mo Green, and they were in shock.
That's a great story.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know, Alex Rocco. But you know, you and Alex Rocco look a little bit alike. That kind of makes sense.
Give me a break.
A little bit. Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right. Yeah, but people were surprised. I told you, people. A lot of the new listeners don't know. I don't know what you call our backstories. Yeah, I know. That was a pretty big one. Mo Green. Oh my gosh. All right, our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. Oh, I got the Fox Nation app to get that Tucker Carlson special a couple weeks ago. Patriot Purge, and and they've got Cops on there, and I started watching Cops again. It's really good. It's like the old days. It's like the old days of. I thought it was going to be like Black Lives Matter woke Cops. And it is really good. It's like the old days. I was very surprised. I was really surprised. It's got to be tougher to be a cop today than it was back in the 80s and 90s when Cops was the big hit. And they even have the same theme song, the Bad Boys song. Yeah. Well, it's nice to know.
What it used to be.
Exactly. Well, I think it's better in that they've got better equipment. So you get, when they're running around, you're not getting motion sickness. It's not like watching Blair Witch Project. But I mean, technically it's better because they didn't have, I don't think they had steady cams in the 80s that you could run around with in your hand like they do now. So the footage is better, but it's really good. And Fox, I wish they would, instead of putting it on the Fox Nation app, I wish they would put it like on the Fox network, like on the weekends, like Sunday nights or something.
Word of warning, I think Trump is going to be Sunday night at a Mark Levin show.
Oh, okay. I watched the interview that Mike Lindell did with President Trump this week. He interviewed him at Mar-a-Lago, and President Trump was wearing the fanciest tuxedo I've ever seen. So there must have been some big event getting ready to happen at Mar-a-Lago, and it was a very good interview. Mike Lindell did a good job. I've never seen Mike Lindell do I've seen him do shows with people, but I've never seen him do like a serious interview. And the one he did that Mike Lindell did with President Trump this week was really, really good. It was really good. He touched on everything.
I've become a real fan of Mark Levin. I always liked him, but I mean, my respect for him has grown the more I watch him.
Well, he was, at first he was a never Trumper, and he woke up. He woke up. So I'm glad, yeah. I like Mark Levin too. No, Mark Levin's good. Out of the syndicated host, I would say he's tops out of the syndicated host. I do. I'm thinking of who's on the air now. Definitely he's number one. Yeah, he's good, but I think Levin's better. Out of everyone who's on the air nationally today, he's my favorite. I wish he was on, I wish they would have put him on in place of Rush instead of Clay Aiken and Bucky, whatever, Sexton. It would have been a much better show. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But this stunt that Kevin McCarthy pulled, I just can't get impressed by that. I was watching it early this morning before I came in, and on the news they're just making this big deal like Kevin McCarthy's some big hero. I don't like Kevin McCarthy.
This was a worthy thing he did.
Yeah.
And to inform people exactly what's involved here. Most people have no idea. Republicans did a very bad job of revealing how horrible this second bill really is, and some of the stuff a lot of people don't know what it is. And I think that's what McCarthy was trying to do.
I've thought that for a long time, and I think he pulled this. Yeah, I give you that. I'll give him that. I'll give you that. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's a toll-free call. 1-888-465-2631. Since we mentioned this great interview with Mike Lindell with President Trump, which is on Frank's Speech, I got to tell you guys, here we are. It's Christmas season. It's Christmas shopping season. And if you go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, you will find incredible Christmas gifts for everyone on your Christmas gift giving list. I just ordered Steve a pair of the MyPillow My Slippers. And 50% off with the promo code Kane on the MyPillow My Slippers. And Steve and I are actually going to have matching slippers. They have many styles and many colors, but you pick the exact same style and color that I have, and you're going to love them, Steve. 50% off the MyPillow My Slippers with the promo code Kane. And here's another one. I don't talk about this one too much. It's such a great thing to have. The MyPillow towel set. Now, Mike Lindell says that these are made of some type of proprietary fabric. I don't know. I mean, to me, I thought a towel was just a towel, and I heard Mike Lindell talking about how this towel does what other towels don't do, and I like, well, what can he do? What can it? Well, that's what I found out as soon as I use it. I use my MyPillow towels every morning when I get out of the shower. Mike Lindell's a brilliant man, the Thomas Edison of sleep, the inventor of the MyPillow, and he's developed these towels. I don't know what happens to the water, Steve. I get out of the shower, I just touch the towel on my body, I'm completely dry, and the towel is not like soaked with water. I don't know what, and these towels are perfect. And like everything else Mike Lindell offers, everything is well made, and you wash and dry the towels every time they're like brand new the day you got them. And there's an incredible deal on the MyPillow towels. Normally, they're $109.99, $110. With the promo code Kane at checkout, just $39.99 for the MyPillow towels. It's a 6-piece set, and it comes with everything, including washcloth, Steve. And I've got 2 sets of them, and they make great Christmas gifts for yourself, for your spouse, anyone on your gift-giving list. The 100% Giza cotton dream sheets. My wife just ordered another 2 sets of them in the flannel, and I was very surprised. The flannels are also 100% Giza cotton. Mike Lindell says a lot of people sell Giza sheets, but they're only like 10% Giza cotton. The MyPillow sheets are 100% Giza cotton. They come in every size, many different colors, regular sheets, flannel sheets, striped solids. Buy 1 set, get a 2nd set free with the promo code Kane at checkout. Now, there's many other specials there. No matter what the special says, you can take advantage of it with the promo code Kane. You will find great Christmas gifts. Let's not leave out the new one, Steve. They have the 3 patriotic MyPillow set, and one with the Statue of Liberty, another one with the American flag. These are beautiful, the MyPillow patriotic pillows. Normally $139.94. With the promo code Kane, just $49.98. Very good deal. So whatever special you see there, you can take advantage of with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and the MyPillow itself, the famous MyPillow, the one that started it all, its lowest price ever. The regular price, $69.98. That's what I paid for mine because they weren't with us then. We didn't have a promo code. $69.98. Worth every penny, too. But you don't have to pay $69.98. You can get your MyPillow for the lowest price ever with the promo code Kane, just $29.98. These all make great Christmas gifts. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. We'll be right back after this.
Brian Craig, I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hello? Yeah, hold on. All right, we are back. Are you with me? Okay. All right, we are back. I got Steve on the phone today. You back with us, Steve? Okay, gotcha. Steve, we're having some technical problems with Steve's studio. He's on the phone. All right, there's only one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Talking to me?
Sounds like you.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I agree with you, and I'm on the same page with people like Rush and Mark Levine as far as really good at what they do. However, when Trump came out, they were not Trump supporters. Those two, and Michelle Macklin, I think her name is,
Malkin.
supporting Trump. And then all of a sudden, they woke up one morning and they were behind the 8 ball. People stopped watching them because they weren't supporters. Michelle Macklin, her career is done. She thought she had a big following.
Who's that? Who's that?
Michelle Macklin.
Michelle Malkin? Yeah, I haven't seen her in years. Yeah.
She did not support Trump. She don't have the face of Mark Levine.
Well, it's Levin, by the way. But let's talk about Mark Levin. Okay, let's talk about Mark Levin in particular. Mark Levin, okay, prior to Trump coming down the escalator, I never missed an episode of Mark Levin's show. And he started that Never Trumper crap, and I tuned him off. And I've never gone back to Mark Levin, by the way. I like Mark. I'll see a clip of him here and there. I don't listen anymore. But Trump has endorsed him. Trump has said he's okay. So, and I don't typically trust Never Trumpers like Ben Shapiro. Candace Owens was a Never Trumper. But Mark Levin has the blessing of President Trump. So,
ratings went down. People listening to them.
Well, look at Glenn Beck. He's never recovered from it.
Yeah, and these people that are supposed to have their finger on the pulse, they actually think that they are leading the band, and they're not leading.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what happened. I'll give you another one. Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter was in the Cruz camp, okay? And what we found is a lot of these radio hosts and pundits are just Republican establishment hacks, like Ann Coulter, you know? But, I found out something recently about Ann Coulter I did not know. She is with, she has been, since the 90s, during the Clinton era, she has been working with Kellyanne Conway's creepy husband, that Lincoln Project guy. She's in with those Lincoln Project guys and has been since the 90s. So that explains her. Yeah, I just found that out recently.
Personally, she's a really great person. But I don't know, this guy she married. When you start reading about the Lincoln Project, it sounds very established, very American. It is anything but that. It is never Trumpers. They're the people that are making the money on the back end, the globalists. That's what they are.
Well, what they are, you give them too much credit. They're Republican establishment people, and they believe that it's their party, and they didn't want to lose control of it. And Trump's an outsider.
Well, I think, to be honest with you, I think to get...
Hold on, caller. Steve's trying to get in.
I'm curious, has she had a lot of work done recently on her face?
I
Cosmetic.
would say yes.
Yeah, I could see it. She doesn't even look the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always, I like Kellyanne Conway, don't get me wrong. But there's something up with that marriage. You say you know her. How do you know her?
Be a teacher of hers, and we have mutual friends.
I don't see how someone could be married to someone who is such the polar opposite of them on something so important, which is Trump. I just don't see how that's possible.
Well, maybe everything else was in tune, and then she just became popular. I think it's a jealousy thing.
I'm wondering. I'm not saying this is true. Okay, like James Carville and his wife have like a sideshow. They're like a freak show where he said she said thing. Kellyanne Conway and her husband, that's real. That's like a cage match. I've just wondered. And again, I'm not saying this is true, and I trust Trump and everything else. But I'm just wondering if Kellyanne Conway is really with us and Trump, or is she one of the big leakers out of the White House?
That she's the reason why he won. When she took over his campaign, he was fledgling. He's just like nothing. She refocused everything. She's really a...
Well, when was he nothing? Excuse me. I mean, I know she, hey, I'm not saying she didn't help, but I think he was doing 2 or 3 rallies a day.
Yeah, but if you remember, she directed him properly. That's why I went.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Well, go back and look and where he was. He was dropping in the polls. She took over. That's why he.
If you were living with someone who was so anti-Trump, where they're going on national TV talking worse than Michael Avenatti, that just doesn't seem like it can compute. I just no.
Well, it was a horrible.
You think she's part of it?
They're still together, Steve.
What does that mean?
Either she is the leak at the White House, or they are the two most unhappiest married people in America.
I think the leaks were Jeff Sessions and the vice president.
Pence, really? Pence.
Yeah, he's done now too. He keeps going out thinking he's going to rebuild his and run for president. He's like, he gets called a trick.
Well, okay, this is the thing with Pence running for president. Running for office is a scam. Steve, don't mention any names, Steve, but Steve and I have known people over the years who make a living running for offices they know they're going to lose because there's a lot of money to be made. No, please don't do that. Then my phone will be ringing all weekend. You know, I don't need to hear from these. But we know there's a lot. So Pence... Pence is running a scam, okay? With that, who's going to buy a Pence book? Who's going to pay him to come speak somewhere with significant money? You know, who wants to bring on Pence? Nobody wants anything to do with that guy. He's a leper. So so this campaign is just a scam to make money.
I wouldn't doubt that at all, but he won't make it through the first round. Nobody's going to donate to his. He has no following. He basically has the same following as.
Well, look where Joe Biden is. Yeah. Hey, appreciate the call. You're a good caller, and well connected apparently. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, g'day.
Oh, we're Australia. How you doing, Australia?
Yeah, good. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. I've got a better connection to Australia than I do with Steve in Cooper City down the street, but that's good. Modern technology.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you and I have been talking for years and things like that, but I just want to let you know, like, Australians at the moment, we're very confused about what's happening in America. Judgment and everything happening at the moment. You've got the Alec Baldwin, and yet you're the country that produces the most law enforcing type TV shows, miniseries, and everything, and yet your court system seems to be doing the opposite.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Listen, let me tell you. In Australia, you got a lot of problems. You got a lot of problems in Australia, but one of my primary sources of news is Australia. You don't have it, Steve, because you're not online. Sky News in Australia is the best news outlet on television on the planet. And I watch them on YouTube, and they have it's more conservative than One American News and NewsMax, and it's more conservative than Fox ever was in their heyday, and they report on all the stories going on in America. I watch it all the time. In fact, I ordered a book on the COVID virus from one of the Sky News reporters. I forgot the name of it, and of the reporter. I just ordered the book the other day. So you know what's going on. Watch Sky News. They got all the stories.
Alan Jones, he's just left Sky News, but he'll be doing his own thing. But, I mean, you've got, it's just fabulous. Sky News here, but they're getting sort of squashed. It goes out on YouTube, but we get a lot of their feeds in Sky News here in Australia.
Oh, they did. I watched a piece on Kyle Rittenhouse on the Australian Sky News that had more information in it than anything I've seen on American television. They're unbelievably good. Yeah. All right. Hey, long time. All right. Are you now? You're not under lockdown out there anymore, though. You're free now.
My state's unlocking in 1 week's time. The rest of the states will be unlocking in a couple of weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, like I didn't want to take the vaccine.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, what they've done is they've turned Australia back into a penal colony. But hey, listen, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, man. Calls from Australia, Steve. we're the word's getting around. The word's getting around. I don't know why I can hear him better in Australia than I can hear you in Cooper City, though. You there? Okay, I got you now. I'll tell you what, though. If you ever visit South Florida from Australia, you want to head over to Coral Springs, about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road, and stop in the Wings Plus. Oh, my goodness. Wings Plus, they have the best of everything over there. Wings, hamburgers, soups. What else do they have? Oh, the homemade chili. Oh, man. Wow. Wow. Half-pound hamburger? That's awesome. I haven't had that yet. How'd you have it? Everything on it and everything? Oh, man. It's very good. It's very good. And, you know, everything at Wings Plus is homemade. Even the sauces for all the wings, homemade right there on the spot. Nothing comes out of a can. They don't go to those, you know, a lot of restaurants, if they're not microwaving, they're going over to Costco's and BJ's, right, and buying bulk and selling it to you. You can do that at home. Everything at Wings Plus on Sample Road is homemade right there. And it's a place where you can also go and eat with your Make America Great Again hat on. And if you don't have one, they sell them over there. And just stop in. Again, they're about a mile west of University on the south side of Sample. Wings Plus, when you stop in, tell Brian, he's the owner, not me, he's another Brian, that you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. So your prediction, Steve, is that the judge is going to do the mistrial with prejudice? Or
the jury comes up with, if the jury acquits, that'll be fine. And if it looks like they're not going to acquit, he'll intercede and he'll take over, he'll have a directed verdict. So,
yeah, now here's the thing. I was watching some analysis, and everyone's talking about mistrial with prejudice. The directed verdict is he can come in with a not guilty verdict himself, right? So would you think he's more likely to do that than the mistrial with prejudice? So they.
And if the jury doesn't do the right thing, the judge will overturn the verdict, give it to Carl.
Well, that'll be a day to celebrate. So today is day 4, right? I think are we in day 4 now of deliberate? I think it's day 4. And he's got to, at some point today, get together with him and say, what's going on? Where are you? You know, are you able to reach a verdict? I mean, how long is he going to give them?
Oh, I think the judge knows where they are.
Yeah. Well, how many days do you think he'll give them without being able to get a decision?
I don't see how they can let it go much past the weekend.
Yeah, I don't like this thing where I know this is how it's always been, but it just doesn't seem very right to me. You go back, you don't agree, and then you try to talk each other into guilty or not guilty. That doesn't seem right. I guess you see the evidence, you vote. That's it. Move on. I just, you were on that DUI jury and you did that. You talked everyone into going guilty that one time.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that story. The jury.
Steve Kane Show.
I forgot what I was going to say. I lost it.
When you were on that DUI jury. You pretended you were Henry Fonda or something, and you flipped the whole jury.
The guy it was a drunk driving case, and the guy, they showed the film, the guy couldn't even stand up, he was so drunk, and he's slurring his words, and I mean, he was guilty, and
I got him, Rich. I got him on the line. Yeah. Yeah. Look what you did to that guy's life. right? He was getting ready to walk. Well, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated right here in Boca with the morning's gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, good morning. Good. How are things looking going into the weekend?
Yeah, metals are still very stable. We saw gold get up as high as $1,872 yesterday before closing actually down $8.80 at $1,858.50 the ounce. That's been the range we've been in, anywhere from about $1,855 on up to about $1,870. $1,870 seems to be resistance right now, and until we break through that and establish ourselves a couple of days above the $1,870 number, we're going to probably be locked in these ranges. Silver closed down 28 cents yesterday at $24.76, and still having a hard time staying above 25. Platinum was down $11 at $1,045, and palladium closed down $59 at $2,072. This morning, gold's up $2.50 right now at $1,861 the ounce. Silver's down a penny at $24.75, while platinum's down $15 at $1,030, and is down $57 at $2,050. That's pretty much where we are. Yeah, we closed out the week here today, but that's the ranges we're in right now.
Well, the ranges look pretty good to me. Now, when someone comes in or they call and want to get in gold, silver, platinum, palladium, whatever they're interested in buying, if they what should people be looking at today? Is it a gold day? Is it a silver day? Is it both? What should someone do that's looking to get in today?
Well, right now platinum looks like a real good buy. I mean, we got up to over $1,100 this week, and then again pulled back. But this range down here around $1,045 for platinum seems like a very good value. Silver under $25 is also a very good value.
Yeah, and platinum, too, comes in coins and everything else, just like the gold and the silver does. All right, now listen, they open up weekdays at 10 over at William Youngerman's. They're located right here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. You can give them a call when they open at 10 at 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010, and online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
Thank you.
All right. You in any of that platinum, Steve? I know you like silver and gold over the years, but
I'll have a little bit of platinum.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to our phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
George, Fort Lauderdale. What do you think of the possibility that the judge is intimidated? Never mind the jury, but the judge himself.
You didn't see him take out a can of whip butts on MSNBC yesterday?
I'm sorry?
You didn't see what he did with MSNBC yesterday?
Well, he threw them out, but be that as it may, I'm just okay. So
I think that answers your question. He doesn't look like a guy who's intimidated to me. I've never seen a judge. The only person I've seen throw out a particular media outlet was President Trump. I've never seen a judge do that with one media outlet like that. Whew. And he even put the guy's name out there.
Yeah, but I think that the thing is he could declare a mistrial without prejudice, and that means you have to go through it all over again.
I think that's the last thing in the world that judge wants to do. That's the judge's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
What?
Once and for all.
He's obviously the judge in Rittenhouse's camp. He doesn't even think he should be on trial, I don't think.
No, I'm on Kyle's side, but
and so's the judge. And I thought it was interesting. The judge yesterday, he's watching these pundits. He's watching all the TV. He doesn't have to stay away from it. He was commenting on how pissed off he was at the legal pundits on TV.
I never thought 6-6 is...
Well, that may not be true. That may be the lawyers planting a news story. The defense team want the judge to get involved here and in this. So they may have said that. They said it in front of the earshot of multiple media outlets. You know? Yeah. So I mean, what are the odds of that? Come on. Yeah. So I think they did that on purpose. Yeah. All right. Take care. But you never know. You know, when we watch these high profile, I didn't think Casey Anthony would get acquitted. You know, but she got acquitted, and she clearly was guilty. You know, so, you know. Well, what happened with Casey Anthony is her lawyer had her take her sweater off, and she was wearing a skin-tight, like, spandex thing underneath with no bra on. And that was it. Not guilty. The day she did that, it was over. I saw Greta Van Susteren interviewed the jury foreman, and he didn't say it, but I could tell he had a thing for her. But that was that. But I don't think Kyle's gonna peel out. Really? She lives in town, you know. She lives in Palm Beach County. She goes. Sometimes in the Palm Beach Post, I'll read a story. There'll be a sighting of her at a garage sale. She's big into garage sailing. She went to a Trump protest at Mar-a-Lago once too. Yeah, she's not in the MAGA camp. No.
Oh.
Casey Anthony. Oh my gosh. Zanny the nanny, but she was acquitted. I was shocked that she got acquitted. I mean, she was clearly guilty. Yeah, but yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. All right, we got time for another call or two if you want to call in here at the end. 1-888-GO-CANE 1. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. And those of you that are new to the program, we're live in the mornings. We do so much promotion. We don't do a lot of self-promotion. Unlike conservative Doug, who called in and did some self-promoting today. But that's okay. You heard that?
On earlier.
Well, I was doing a little fishing to see if the story was BS, but he. Well, I woke you up.
Doug.
It was not a half an hour, Steve. I know it may have seemed like half an hour. I know. I was talking about. At the top of the show, I was talking about this yesterday. Yesterday was a rough day for me because, you know, I take blood pressure medication, and I took it before the show. I don't know what it's called. I'll let you know later when I get home. I'll look at the bottle. But I took it before the show yesterday, and I was totally doped up. I was like out of. I don't even remember the last hour of the show. I really don't remember, and the last 2 hours or the second hour is a blur because by 7 o'clock it kicked in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so awful when I left the show yesterday. And surprised, I called you. You said you couldn't tell. You said everything was fine. Well, I'm glad you thought so because I don't remember any of it. But that's what happens. Now let me see. Is this Janet Cimarelli from AJ's Natural at the Festival Marketplace?
Brian, good morning, Steve. Oh, Brian, I can help with that. I have natural substances to balance blood pressure without getting you into a situation that affects your memory, that just affects how you're going to function in life. Oh, my goodness.
It was really bad. You know, I'm a big nutraceutical guy. I take one prescription. I couldn't read. I felt like I was high. Not that I would know how that feels. Steve has told me what that's like. But so you have you have natural products that can help with my blood pressure?
Absolutely. And I've been working with people for years and years and years to avoid the pharmaceuticals that have potential danger to your kidneys and other obviously in your case, to brain and ability to function. So come on in and see me at AJ's because I have lots of natural things that will.
Well, I'm definitely going to do that, you know, and one thing, a big difference to me, this is just my experience, okay, over the years, between prescription medications and nutraceuticals, right? Every prescription medication I've had has a side effect, right? Like I was experiencing on the air for 3 hours yesterday. And nutraceuticals, natural things like you offer at AJ's Natural at the Festival Marketplace, never a side effect. I don't know why that is, but I've never experienced a side effect from a nutraceutical.
pharmaceuticals, unfortunately, in addition to many potential side effects, they also can lead to nutrition deficiencies.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to be in there talking to you about that. Now, listen, Janet Cimarelli, who's a licensed nutrition counselor, is not available just for private consultations with me. You can have a private conversation and consultation with Janet Cimarelli, too. You want to call AJ's, though, and make an appointment. It is a free consultation, but you want to make an appointment. Janet can get very busy. And the number at AJ's is 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851. And AJ's Natural is located in the Festival Marketplace, which is immediately east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample Road in Pompano. And AJ's Natural is easy to find. Go in the main entrance, walk back to the food court, look to your right, and you'll see AJ's right across from the information booth. You can't miss it. And today at 10 a.m. on our radio stations, all of them, catch Janet Cimarelli and her radio show on all of our radio stations just an hour from now. All right, Janet Cimarelli, have a great show, and we'll talk next week. All right, Steve, we're out of time, and you really do have 10 seconds to sign us off.
AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right. Hey, guys, thanks for watching, everyone. And make sure you subscribe. Click that notification bell if you're new. And everyone, before you go, please like the video. All right? I'll see you guys later. Take care.